Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Saturday night sci-fi shadow chat, where we're going to talk about cultural phenomenons in the year 2424 pertaining to the Traveler game we've all been working on. People like Doc Flamingo, Crafting Gamer, George. Who else was in on that with us?
Raven was in on it, but I don't think she
Yeah,
cares.
yeah. I don't think she
Uh,
quite understood.
TCG.
Right. And I know TCG was in a game earlier, so I don't think we'll see him tonight. George and Doc may pop in. Um, I haven't seen George in a couple of days. I haven't seen Doc, but I know some other
Mhm.
streamers are doing their thing tonight as well. Bloodworth's doing a thing now on Saturdays, I guess. Who else? DM James might be doing something. Bear might be doing something. So we'll see who shows up tonight. So what's new with you, man? Anything new or exciting in the gaming front?
No, not really. I've just been watching Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman,
Okay,
starring Terry Hatcher and some other people, I guess.
okay, all right. I used to know a girl who looked a lot like her back in the day, but
hmm
I've never seen any of the Superman shows that have come down the pike in the last ever. I think the last ones I watched were the old black and whites. I saw, of course, the movies back in the day with Christopher Reeve, but never a big Superman guy. It's just
Neither am I. I really don't care about the character. It's the interpersonal banter that
yeah,
makes that show worthwhile.
gotcha.
Um, it's like remember News Radio?
Vaguely, I didn't really watch it a lot.
Yeah, I watched it not too long ago again, and it was in terrible condition, like very grainy. But like the interpersonal relationship between Lois and Clark in that the '90s show
Uh-huh.
was a lot like that, but less zany. Like
I,
you
I
got
kind of
like
picture it like maybe Moonlighting or Castle, maybe. No.
yeah, but a little more comedic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe not Moonlighting. I could not watch more than the first few episodes of that show, and then
Mhm.
I did
Remington
not.
Steele, maybe.
What? Remington
Remington.
Steel? I've not watched it. It's on Tubi. I should though.
Yeah,
I guess I'll take it.
I liked it. I didn't watch them all. I didn't watch a lot of TV back in that
Remington
era,
Steel.
or ever really. More of
Yeah.
a, I've caught some stuff over the years, but at that particular
Not
time,
far.
I was doing other things and just watching TV. It had to be something really big, and we did have access to I had laserdisc players and VCRs and things like that. So if I was gonna sit in front of something, I would pull something out of my collection as opposed because I really hate commercials. I Most
hmm
commercials actually make me want to not buy their product just out of spite. It's like
Yeah.
I've been buying the same products for years and years. There's occasionally I see something I'm like, oh hey, that looks cool, but
There are some funny commercials that are like
sure,
worth watching on their own. But
sure. But
yeah.
it's been probably maybe 10 commercials have made me interested in a new thing, but for the most part,
It's even worse now because most commercials don't advertise the product; they advertise the message.
mhm. Hey,
Hey,
what's up?
TCG.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, and a lot of those messages need to shut up,
Yep. Yep.
or you would think well, uh, getting into what we're about to talk about, uh, I think that in the future, our TVs and our internet and things like that are going to be so fine tuned to us after a few short years that the odds of us actually falling for a commercial or buying what's being sold is going to be almost, in the 60 to 80 percentile range.
Well,
They're going to know what we want, and now they're going to cater to that.
uh, it, it can't be as bad as it is now, where like you buy a television and then you start getting bombarded with ads for TVs. It's like when I was looking TVs up, that's when you bombard me with ads for TVs. You don't bombard me after I've purchased one,
Yeah,
right? You
and,
know.
and we've all heard how our devices are listening to us. We already know that's a thing, and most of us don't seem to mind. Just try it
Oh
for yourself. Start talking about something you never talk about with your phone in hand or near your device, and then uh, you
yeah,
know
passive listening. I think that's illegal in Canada, so they don't do that.
you're lucky because
But
I've literally seen examples like the famous one I did was my son and I we just started talking about Godzilla, right? And I went into my device and I typed a Geo. And
yeah,
there's a whole lot of things it could be. The likelihood that it's Godzilla, guaranteed the first search item that came up, Zilla guy.
yeah, yeah. In the year 2525.
If man is still
Still,
alive, woman can survive. They may find in the year 3535. Ain't gonna need to tell the truth, tell no lie. Everything you think and do and say is in the pill you took today.
yeah. It's he, he switched the dates from a song. I don't remember,
Okay. What's up,
you
Bo?
know, what the song's called. I think it's the in the year uh, 29,
You guys know
25,
where
25.
you guys know where the link is. You want to pop in, uh, but I think that there's going to be some weird stuff over the next couple of centuries, culturally. I wrote a couple of down, but there was one I really wanted to focus on that I wanted to make my own for the Traveler game because I thought it's definitely going to be a
Exordium
thing.
and Terminus. Yeah, sorry. I'm looking up
The song
the song. It's actually in the year 2525.
is that by the Condors, the
No, Exordium and
Flight,
Terminus.
Flight of the Concords or whatever it was.
No, no, it's older.
Okay, no,
Sega and
I really
Evans.
it's not ringing a bell, Bo.
I'll post it to your music thing in a bit.
Cool, cool, cool.
Uh,
Speaking of songs with dates in them, one of my favorites is Miami 2017 by Billy Joel, who I normally no longer listen to. We were in the car on the way to the parade, and I started playing it, and Jackie's like, "Quick, quick, give me the cord," which is we have a cable from the front seat to the back seat where he and I sit, especially when Grandma's in the car, so that he could plug it into the bigger speakers because he likes that song that much,
yeah.
which is kind of weird, Kids these days
Uh,
usually don't like us, like our old fogey music. All
yeah.
right,
I'm trying to look up when the fucking song came out. The 40s or the
so
50s,
who is that? Who
60s.
didn't beep? Somebody. George, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Hey,
George.
What's happening?
what's up?
I'm stuffed, man. I ate way too much and I didn't even finish my dang burrito.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I remember
burrito.
they did a episode of what's the Simpsons guys space show? What was that called? With
Uh,
Fry and all them.
Oh,
Futurama.
Futurama. Yeah, they did a time travel episode where they were kind of making a spoof version of the 2025 song.
okay. I thought you meant like a show on The Simpsons not the spin-off show. It's like, huh? And I was thinking of some of the nerdy characters. Well, actually, guy, did he do a
Music we
show?
love.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I liked how
Okay.
they did time travel in
Sorry,
the
I'm listening to that song.
oh, okay. Oh,
It's
let's go back over here. Sorry, guys, I was Beastie Boys and Weezer are old fogey bands by now. I really didn't listen to a lot of Weezer at all, if any.
yeah.
A couple of Beastie Boys songs couldn't help it because
I prefer Weezer over Beastie Boys.
Weezer has a lot of good songs of their own, but they also do like covers at their concerts and stuff, which are pretty cool. Like
I
they did
heard
Poker Face and stuff.
recently the Beastie Boys got like, I'm not going to say woke, but real apologetic about the stuff that made them famous.
Yeah.
So for me, that's eh, uh, you shouldn't have to apologize.
Well, they were part of the zeitgeist that changed the conversation in the first place.
Yeah,
Um, so like they were part of the reason why we built up to having to apologize. So fuck them.
yeah.
Um,
Because these days apologies don't actually they don't mean anything.
no,
They're almost. Uh,
they rarely, if ever, do.
hey, what's up, Raven? I'll send you a
Oh,
link shortly.
right.
They almost it's almost like literally like you know opening up your chest, going here, stab me here where it's gonna do the most damage. It's
Yeah.
like some sort of act of humiliation and you know just almost self deletion process.
Okay, so that song came out on an album of the same title in 1969.
1969, really?
Yeah. Uh,
By
Nice.
oh fuck, what was the name of the band? Zager and Evans or whatever.
I don't know.
Zager and Evans. Yeah, just a '60s band.
Never, I honestly don't know it.
Yeah. That's like their only hit, right? That's the only song anyone ever knows by them.
Okay.
And it's like that one old
Yeah, yeah,
rock
I
song.
saw that boat.
What?
He's just showing his butt again.
Who?
Pepper.
I missed
I don't
something.
mind
I'll
some
just check out his
surprise.
last two comments. Uh, so, did either of you two come up with any cultural phenomenon you think
I,
are going to be a big thing in the
I forgot
future?
all about the thing we needed to do.
Ah,
It was on my mind, but I was trying to think of like a band or a music thing. Now, like in other like past fictional cult band phenomenons in like a sci-fi setting, there were
mm,
always kind of a spoof of something, like how much people like in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it was like how loud the music was and things like that. But like now it's like the music is so like it's always a critique of the time, and the music now is maybe it's come just old, but the music now is just so boring that it's like I can't picture music
Well,
really continuing.
the problem with music now is that it is a critique of things 40 years ago, and it's overproduced. Like
mm.
if you're not getting something that is independently made, or Taylor Swift, right? It's just like auto-tuned trash.
Well, what about
Yeah.
there are exceptions that big hit from Oliver Anthony, Richmond, north of Richmond.
But like I said,
Eh,
it's that was auto-tuned as well. but it's independent, and
Mhm.
well, independent because he was a little less independent than we were all led to believe originally. Uh, he had an
You think?
agency behind him. No, no, it's proven fact. He had an agency behind him.
And he's
Really?
and
Yeah,
I have a feeling it won't. It gets too set now. Like it's not going to have much staying power.
yeah. Well, and that's another thing. It's like because of the Spotify's and such, you you can't make money off of music. Like that's why I told you about that thing about bands selling cassette tapes. It's not about you having physical media, but you actually funding the groups you like, right? Like having something that will put actual revenue in their pockets. And you got Ticketmaster and they're we're not a monopoly competition owned by the same company. Whatever that one's called, I can't remember.
Ticket,
Uh, what?
Ticketron.
Ticketron? Yeah. Um,
Ticketmaster.
no, Ticketmaster and Ticketron are the two, and they're owned by the same company. So it's like a fake, not monopoly. Um, and your Senate went after them for it, and they just like reshuffled some bullshit and kept doing what they were doing. And that's like you would buy a ticket that would have cost $25 3 decades ago, costing
You know,
like 800.
hundreds.
They're like $800 now, and the bands aren't getting any more money. The venue is not getting any more money. It's all going to a third party middleman.
That's crazy.
Exactly, and it's
Yeah.
it's been killing venues. I just watched a YouTube special about a bar that had to close during COVID, right? Which was like the guy was like, we thought it would be the thing that killed us, and it wasn't. We came back, and fucking Ticketmaster is the one killing us because we can't get bands in the door without having Ticketmaster handle the thing because the band's agents won't let them perform at places that aren't like selling tickets through Ticketmaster. Like,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah,
I mean, I wonder if like the whole not necessarily Bitcoin, but that whole sort of peer to peer interactions
it
might make, but
it doesn't matter if the acts won't show up because
yeah,
they can't work without this fucking third party monopoly fucking them, right? And
yeah,
it's,
That's
and that
that's
third party probably only works with certain agents
yeah.
and managers and
Well, it's not that. It's that they work with everyone, but it's like okay, I did Greg's Bar and Grill with live music. Now I can never book like major stadium.
that's why these bands are gonna have to take one from the old Blue Oyster Cult handbook and play under a completely different name
You
without
shouldn't
anybody
have
knowing.
to do that though, man.
No,
You
I
should
know.
not have to do that. And then that gets leaked. They need to take a book from Luigi's handbook. That's what they need to do.
I don't
Fuck,
know
man.
about that. The problem with that is eventually there will be nobody left.
Yeah.
so some of the things I'm thinking is like there like some musicians are kind of going like I'm finding weird like tie-ins to like YouTube and kind of influencer kind of culture
Yeah.
where like like Tim Pool he's doing his band and he's he basically he's all right sounds I mean I don't care much for his music but he's like making music and he's just basically kind of milking off of his audience
Yeah.
and so it's just like this like previous audience of like just being kind of known for being influential maybe that's where it would go well this
I
where
don't
you can
remember this, Bo. But then again, I only watched that movie one time, maybe, maybe.
oh yeah they mention it in that guy that you got me hooked on just in the feral historian he
Yeah.
mentions it it's actually when you watch it and it's like yeah it is kind of accurate what happened except for the the what do you call it? The fast food wars.
I fuck you, Taco Bell one. That movie is an historical document, and it is absolutely true that the big quake reordered California into a authoritarian nightmare.
Hey, Raven, you want to jump in on this? You're gonna have to send me a message through Messenger because uh, I did something with Messenger promoting Jackie's uh, new video. If you guys haven't seen it, go over to the Fourth Agenda. It's a 2 minute video, but he's already got a couple hundred views on it. Uh,
Cool.
but because
I
I did that, uh, all my people in Messenger aren't where they used to be, so I would literally have to search through it for several minutes
mhm.
after they take their soma. I used to actually have a prescription for that, and it literally did nothing. It was I don't know what it was. I don't remember what it was for. Probably either sciatica or my back injury. But
I'm just saying that if you're gonna get jiggy with what was her name again? Sandra Bullock.
oh
I don't want to do it through VR either.
yeah, I used to know a girl who really looked like her a lot, and
You
even
already
back
said
then,
that to me with Terry Hatcher. Like, what the fuck's?
I knew a lot of people. You know, I wasn't
Well, they kind of
glued
look the
to a
same.
screen. I was out doing stuff.
I was 9 when that show was on. Okay, I wasn't out doing shit when I was
And
9.
I
I
was
had to
gonna
wait
say,
another 2 years.
over the years, she's gotten like
Freaky
she used to
looking. She's like 60. Okay,
be right, but she used to be, or at least come across as very, like wholesome and girl
who,
next
Hatcher
door,
or Bullock?
Bullock,
Bullock, yeah.
and now she's like 2 steps away from Michael Jackson. You know what I mean?
I'd have to check, but last I saw her, she was like mid-60s biker chick or whatever. Like
Really?
Yeah, didn't she like date one of those like biker show guys, like the biker build guys?
the yes, but the one that had the chop build.
It was like the early, yeah, it was one of the. It was before the Orange County guys. It was like there
Yeah,
was
he
like a
had the
big
one where
show.
like we're gonna build this weird thing some viewer told us to build.
Yeah, he built a tribute
They
bike
had a
to
shop down the
tribute
street
bike to.
from where I used to live.
I
Yeah.
think Kat Von D dated him too, or something.
Yes, yes, after.
Um,
Um yeah, I know the
that
guy, I can't remember his name, but I stopped watching the show when he threw a hissy fit because the DeLorean was the car they were working on that month, that week. And he's like,
Okay.
I don't like the DeLorean, so I'm gonna throw a bitch ass hissy fit. And it's like, okay, I'm not watching the show anymore.
Got to see the Ecto One today.
The real one, or
I,
well,
I believe so. I mean,
probably not the
uh,
real one because
well,
it sat out in the
the
rain
the
for
the
like
uh,
3
the
decades.
Orange County Chopper Shop used to have the Ecto One in front of it, so I can see that's only a
They
couple.
had a Ecto one because the original one literally sat in the
Right, the warehouse.
Warner Brothers. Well, no, it sat uh, off lot in like out in the elements, just there. You could walk up to it, and people stole a bunch of shit off of it,
Of course, they did.
and it sat in like the baking California sun for 40 years or whatever, since like the
Really,
mid 80s till like 4 or 5 years ago when it was restored. Um, yeah, there's a documentary you can watch on it. It looked bad.
I'll bet.
Yeah, and it's like this is one of like the 5 all-time top movies. Like not I'm a scene file nerd top movies. This is like one of the actual top movies, and you're letting like a primary iconic piece of of film history just degrade. When you have a fucking tour that goes through your lot, it should be there and on that, and it wasn't. You had to be like walking around to
That's
find the thing.
ridiculous.
Yeah, Hollywood, man, bunch of really retarded people.
Well, yeah. I
Like no self-respect for their own craft or
I can't.
anything.
I personally, I can't believe that someone like, Dan Aykroyd, or somebody from the movie didn't say, okay, but as part of my contract, I get the vehicle, or I get the costumes,
Well,
stuff like.
for the second one, definitely, but I don't think they were like that. Wasn't as much of a thing you could do back in the '80s, right?
Really?
That started in the '90s, early '90s, late
Well,
'80s.
I know Christopher Walken, like, literally, like, tried to steal everything he could get his hands on when it came to clothing they had him wear.
Yeah, because like those guys were getting stiffed left, right, and center. Um, and you know that that's a moneymaker because that was already known in the '60s that props from fucking sci-fi and fantasy movies
Yep.
sold like gangbusters.
What? What do you want? Who can check you? Thank you. Weirdo.
Uh,
So,
you feeling
a
okay,
couple.
George?
He's probably got something off camera he's got to take care of.
Hmm.
I came up with a couple of cultural phenomenons I'm going to run past you guys. Uh, one is retro cultures,
Well,
where,
there's always retro culture, so yeah.
right, but the further into the future you get, the more you can look back. And I can't picture, in the year 24, 24, 25, 25, whatever, that there being, people going back beyond the 20th century.
I could
Maybe,
see like neo Luddite movements. The more dehumanizing
maybe,
technology gets to.
uh, maybe 17, 1800s tops, but beyond that, you just couldn't function uh, in any of the new environments. You know what I mean?
I could see like quiet space movements where they like have no electronics in their homes or whatever.
Hmm.
Or they'll have that one room that's like a powder room for their phone, and otherwise it's like the '90s everywhere else in their house.
Right,
Or definitely you have like the neo Luddite movements, and then the like are the like the purity of the flesh, and then the everything must be machine
right.
of the body movements, so they could have like street fights uh going around.
But I was thinking, from things like you can't really have, in our solar system, unless, for example, like Mars gets terraformed. All the planets
Well,
in our
yeah,
solar system, you can't just land on it and you're good to go. You know
there
what
are
I
a
mean?
bunch
Like
of
the
moons.
settlers
Yeah,
and the Amish and things like that. Until we start finding planets like that, that you can just walk out, land, and breathe, you know. And those are going to
yeah.
be worlds that are going to be sucked up by the mega corporations as soon as they're discovered.
Well, yeah. Well, until ships are bountiful and easy enough to operate, that like
Like an
some
RV,
yeah, like an RV,
which
or
probably will
a little
never
more
happen.
complicated. Yeah.
I've been thinking about that. There is no way on God's green earth humanity and the powers that be right now are ever going to let that happen. They're
Well,
always going to have that.
the further you go out, the less control agencies have, right? Like, it's just the fundamental of spread. The longer it takes for the man's arm to reach you, the more ability you have to just do things.
If we get to the point where all of the technologies are as easy to build as it was for people to make the the stagecoach and the buggies and things like that, where just about anybody could slap together a freaking
Yeah,
remember
there.
the TV show Salvage One, where the guy built a rocket in his backyard, in his junkyard, so to speak.
Yeah,
Maybe if that
salvage one.
that but I think before that would happen, there would be another cultural phenomenon where it's a lot of
Salvage one.
that controlling power would be uh, done away with. That whole mentality, trying to monitor everything about society, which would literally take a pretty heavy revolution, and we didn't really plan for that. So,
Well, there's definitely going to be major collapses
mhm.
uh, in
I look at it like
governments.
this. Right now, eh, I can see where, like, not necessarily Jackie's generation, but maybe his generation or one or two after, where they're so sick of the things that have been happening when it comes to those kind of regulations, that when they get into power, there's enough people that are like, you know what, we need to like reverse all that crap.
Mhm.
Not necessarily an armed or violent revolution, but just a sort of a all at once silent. Okay, we're in now. Let's do the thing.
Well, that's why. That's why.
Sorry, I didn't see you there, George. Get your butt in here.
Going to
Oh, just as I clicked it, he clicked out.
take to walk. Well, he had a message that said he's going to log for a minute.
But if that happens, cool.
Yeah.
We won't be around to see it. I don't think. Maybe you might be around, but you'll be like, "Oh, Shadow was right,"
mm,
or no, you'll be like,
no. Well, I'm honestly of the opinion that it's going to be violent because,
"It's been violent recently."
well, it's also like there's so much entrenched bureaucracy that prevents anyone who wants to change it. Um, like literally, you guys couldn't even vote on having a vote in your Senate to oversee uh, insurance finagling. So how are you going to change it bureaucratically, right? Like
Yeah.
the fact that like if in any other industry you paid for something and then they didn't send it to you and then refused to send you your money back, you'd be able to take them to court,
Yep.
but you can't do it for insurance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, insurance. All insurance is a scam. If
Yeah.
it's not, it's a pyramid scheme. Whole bunch of people pay in, but very few people get paid back.
Well, yes, but like you understand that going in. You understand that if you never need it, you've paid for like not going bankrupt if you did need it.
Hey, what's
But
up, Mar? I haven't seen you in forever.
yeah, how you doing, bro? But the fact is that if you did need it, right, and then they deny you or they deliberately delay long enough so uh that they can save a little bit of money.
Well,
Um,
think about it like this: it's okay. Let's assume everybody had to buy a kind of insurance, like car insurance, for example,
yeah.
okay, or health insurance, and then suddenly everybody had the exact same situation happen to them, and they needed to call upon their insurance company to make a claim. They could not pay it.
Well, insurance companies actually have insurance for such a scenario. Like there is insurance for insurance companies.
But you
Um,
see what I mean? At some point, They would
Yeah.
literally run out of money. So the only way they can stay in business is getting more people. But when they
Yeah.
top out, then what? And then
Well,
there's a natural
yeah.
disaster.
F-
They're,
First of
they're whole,
all, there's the banking on such a thing is highly unlikely. There are insurance plans for insurance companies, and most of the revenue held by insurance companies is actually generated by stocks and as such, right? Like
it would have to be.
it is. But the fact is that they are allowed to collect money from people and then refuse to pay out the good that
Mhm.
person purchased. And it's like the guy that was shot was the CEO of a company that had like a 30% denial rating.
Yep, yep. It was literally the highest denial rate.
Yeah, it's like, and their solution is not looking over the bad practices of their industry. Their industry that's one of the most profitable industries in the world, uh, right? And that's profit, not like fucking revenue, because you know the difference, right?
Right.
Uh, okay. Sorry. TCG sent me something for soundboards.
Oh, okay.
I'm not buying a Stream Deck. I'm not spending $150 on 5 buttons.
Right. Uh, you've got a tablet, right?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was looking at getting one, but yeah. Oh,
I like the idea of using a tablet for a soundboard because, like I said, you can have those little icons to help you remember.
yeah. Well, he showed me the Steam Deck, and each button has a monitor built into it for that. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah. I'll pull up a picture of one.
I was going to say, you just send me the link. I'll take a look
Uh,
at it later.
yeah. I guess I could do that. Da, 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 da. Where the fuck is the share button? You were saying,
One of the other cultural phenomenon I threw in there. I'm saving the best for last, but was the Robo Wives and Robo Husbands phenomenon. It's gonna be a
yeah.
thing. It'll probably be sooner than later. Uh,
Yeah.
hopefully people will have the decency to wait until they're indistinguishable, unless. And this is the weird
Well,
thing that I
you'll always get an early adopter.
right, but there's going to be two kinds. There's going to be the people who want them to look exactly like humans and function exactly like humans, and then there's going to be the weirdos who don't want them to look like humans, and
Yeah.
they're going to look like God only knows what. Oh, okay. Let's see what you got
I
here.
sent you the link as well, but yeah, and these things are little LCD monitors, and they're buttons.
Oh, okay.
Uh, these things,
Okay, I see.
and
That's
you can,
kind of cool, but kind
yeah,
of
and then there's like knobs for volume control and stuff. Um, they make ones that are like just buttons as well, and as such. But
hey, you're going to have to hold the show for me for a minute.
yeah. What were we talking about, everyone? I gotta get back over to the screen.
Uh,
Uh,
Robo spouses.
yeah. Robo spouses. Yeah. I have no doubt that there will be like the robo spouse thing, and then I could see that being in the next 15 to 30 years that those start popping up. because they already got like animatronics in the sex dolls to make them fucking blink and shit. Uh, and like fake breathe, George. Uh, but yeah, that and well, if you're going full robotics, they'll be doing like construction and all ranges of automation. So there would be big projects on like is it human made or shit like that. You already got that with like boutique furniture and stuff like that. And then other other reactionary things that could be happening. There isn't so much like the back to nature co-ops and stuff like that, but like you got like weirdos that like want to move to Mars but not terraform it because fucking environmentalism of a dead rock. You already have people talking about that stuff today. So, you know, will they start bombing shit like in that Kim Robertson whatever book trilogy? What's that guy's name? You know that trilogy, George? You're muted. Oh, what was that book series called? Uh, Mars. Oh, there's not a D at the end of Mars. There's an S. Um. Uh, du- 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 du. Kim Stanley Robertson. If you haven't read the Mars trilogy by Kim Stanley Robertson, Red Mars, Green Mars, Blue Mars, I highly recommend you read it out there. You're still muted, George, if you've said anything. I can't check to see if it's on the end of. Oh, there you are. I can hear you. I heard breathing.
Mm.
Uh, there you go.
I'm on the. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
What's with the mobile?
Oh, it's my office. My kids are doing a project on it.
Okay. And you don't want them on live streams for obvious reasons.
Yeah, and just can't talk candidly, you know. Just say some degenerate thing out loud and be like, "What?"
Wow. I apologize for that. You are sideways now, though.
Oh, let's see.
You're upside down now. That's your hairline.
There we go.
Okay.
You can see the Christmas tree if I put the on the.
I see
So
a
I
bucket.
Oh,
Oh, that's a Christmas tree.
there it
So,
is.
ooh.
Oh. Now I'll zoom out. Oh, crappy thing.
Have you topped it already?
Oh yeah,
It's got like a star.
yeah.
Or
Little
an
angel,
angel.
like an angel with with little stars around it.
Okay. It's nice.
There we go. Yeah.
Nice Germanic Christmas tree for you.
Yeah, my dad said back in like the 30s, I guess it was. No, maybe 40s. He like made the first Christmas tree in this town in Greece. He even lit it up with like flashlight light bulbs.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
That would have been an annoying to do.
Yeah.
Just
I don't
just
I,
just
I
an
don't know how he didn't
absolute
set
annoying.
I don't know how he didn't set it on fire. He was telling me he was just soldering wire to it and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what? And I've been to the town where he's from. It's not like there's like a Radio Shack or anything, especially not in the
Well,
40s.
people were a lot more industrious back then, bro.
Oh yeah. He built a zip gun once. We would call it a zip gun. He just got some pipes, and of course, it was after World War II, so they just got like they had all sorts of gunpowder lying around. So and then he shot his own cat with it. I
Good
hope Raven
man.
didn't.
Good man.
I'm hoping Raven didn't hear that.
We need to
He was
get Raven a zip gun so she can shoot her own cat with it.
he said he was half blind and but he like knew everywhere to go. But like if you put your hand in his way, he'd bump into it, or if you close the door, he would just bump into the door. Yeah, it was a mercy killing.
Oh, wow. I think with Raven it would be not a mercy killing, but a preemptive strike. We are going to one day open up the newspapers because for some reason they've started printing them on paper again, and the first article we'll read is "Woman in wherever the fuck Raven is eaten by cats."
Yeah. Again.
Again. Oh.
Yeah, cats are they're fascinating, but sometimes like we had this cat, he was an awesome cat. For a cat, he had people skills. Like he was just a jerk. Like he'd bug you, act like you're his best friend when you're like eating some Chinese food or something, and you'd give him every little bit of ham in your Chinese rice, you just throw it to him and he'd eat it. And then like after you're done eating, you come up to him like, "Hey, buddy, weren't we buddies?" No, he just looked at you and walked away. But he
Do
one
you
day
have
he
any
was
more General Chow?
yeah.
Do you have any more General Chow? Meow. No.
Made
Meow.
him a cat. He's a cannibal now. Yeah. Well,
Oh.
that cat one day, like my dad had these peppers growing in a pot in his backyard, and he he decided to eat them. You just see him like spit them out and like run away. Like, hey. Sometimes it's when they're taking down a peg or two, you kind of laugh at them.
Hot peppers, I'm assuming.
Yeah, hot peppers. Yeah, that was a weird situation. I don't know much about plants, but those peppers somehow like crossed with like peppers we had that were just green peppers, and we had these mildly hot peppers that were just growing randomly in our yard.
Should have cultivated those. Could have probably made a lot of money making like slightly spicy,
Yeah, like a poblano or something.
slightly spicy bell peppers.
Yeah. for people who don't like spice like us, for people who don't like too much spice, I guess.
Well, no, it's for people who want a little bit of spice in absolutely everything.
Oh, okay.
So I've told this story a few times because I'm gonna wait until Shadow's done taking his dump, unpacking his fudge. We had this sauce called Dave's Infernal Hot Sauce, right? And it was some hot motherfucking shit. And we put it in the fridge. Like literally, you would have to like apply it to something with a toothpick, and you better count your dots in singulars because any more than one will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
We put it in the fridge, and the mustard was next to it. So now we had spicy mustard. And then the mayo was next to that, so now we have spicy mayo.
Yeah.
And there's like spicy relish. And there's like spicy margarine.
I'm like weird. I don't like the jalapeno spice, but I do like a mustardy spice. Like I'll eat like a wasabi or something. I don't care.
No, I mean like the bottles just got spicy on their own. Like just sit next to it, make it
just the air contamination.
Yeah. And then one summer, like we're having a lot of pigeons landing on the window sills, and the whole porch was getting full bird shit. So we put some of this stuff on the windowsill, and then there were a couple of dead pigeons on the porch, and then we had no more bird shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been 15 years, and we still don't get bird shit.
What was that movie?
Well, it's
You ever
'cause
seen?
the pigeon ghosts are warning them off.
Yep. Yep.
Right, Raven?
Raven.
There
Raven.
was a.
What's it? Raven. Ghost pigeons are real. They're the only type of ghost. George.
Yeah. Oh, there's that movie, 24-Hour Party People. Have you seen that? It's
No,
like
but I'm
about
gonna look it up.
British movie, British like sort of new wave music scene. And there was the band was, what was it called? Happy Monday? No, some weird name. I think it was Happy Mondays or whatever. I didn't. They were kind of a minor band that I maybe heard one song when they were on, but apparently they went up to their rooftop, got like a bunch of bread and mixed it with rat poison and threw it to all the birds. And it was just like they duplicated this like pigeon apocalypse in the movie. Of just dropping out of the sky.
Everybody knows the proper way to do that. Seltzer.
Yeah.
Ah,
George, can you tilt your mic just a little away from your?
ah,
Yeah.
I'll go lower.
So
Okay. Thank you.
I was looking into robots about a year ago when it came to what we were just talking about, and I am thoroughly convinced that within less than 100 years they're going to be walking around surrogate bots.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying probably more like 30.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, in Japan, obviously, there will be just
No.
this place called Japan, but no Japanese. Uh, in Japan, with the way things are going,
Well, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
well,
They'll have a contraction, and then there'll be a baby boom.
probably.
That's how it always goes. And it would have been the same here in North America if it wasn't for the mass immigration.
Mhm.
The whole surrogate thing. I remember that movie with Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
What was it called? I think it was called Surrogates or something.
Surrogates.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then there was also the
Oh, but it's
the
so
Congress. That was kind of the opposite of surrogates. Was the Congress, where
I
people would
don't know
just
that one.
live. That was a. It had that woman. She played the Princess Bride. Something White. I forget her name.
the one who's
She.
married to Spicoli. What's his name?
The Congress.
Oh, she's married to him. I didn't
Mhm.
know that. Yeah, she was in the. What was that show with? Gosh, now I'm just so bad with names now. It's about like the corrupt politician.
Oh, House of Cards.
House of Cards. She was the wife in House of Cards,
Yes, she
Yeah.
was.
and
The
yeah,
Congress. I'm surprised I did not hear about this.
oh, that's a good one to watch. It's pretty. It's kind of it was too depressing for me at the end, but I just found that the world that people just decide to we can all live in
It's not
basically.
that, Mar. It's literally the women have all decided they want to have careers first, and then realize in their 40s it's too late to be moms.
Well, that and like there's actual social engineering, especially in the case with the Japanese after World War II. Their government was reconstructed. There was like forced sterilizations in Japan and shit like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The occupying government of Japan was not the best.
Well,
MacArthur,
uh,
MacArthur wouldn't do that.
well, I was going to say, uh, uh, wars have consequences.
Mm.
When you lose, you're lucky to be alive in some cases throughout history.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, will you knock it off? I'm going in just a minute. Jeez, you wanted to come out here. what that would be like. How laws would have to be changed, or created for men or women who essentially purchase a robo spouse,
Yeah.
and then those robo spouses are more than likely going to outlive their human counterpart. Did you guys watch Bicentennial Man?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, with Robin
Yep,
Williams.
one of his better movies, I think.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
what would happen if uh, a rich man or woman buys a spouse and has a huge family, and but then you know not big enough to where the oldest child can take care of himself, 18 or whatever, and suddenly their family is being run by a mechanoid.
Uh,
Would the company that created the robot, some have a built-in clause to where they can start taking over families, or things like that, or
there's like an episode of The Outer Limits like that. I think it's The Outer Limits. But yeah, like once again, you're going the most conspiratorial route, and
well, I mean,
rightfully
if
so in
you're
some cases. But
well, there'd
but
have to be some sort of system in place for that. They'd have to think
yeah,
that you know within not even a whole generation, they would have to figure out what's going to happen. What are they going to do when that situation arises?
yeah.
And would these mechanoids be given citizenship and things like that, or would they be property, or you know
Well, like you have different cases and different like we decide Earth is still separate blocks,
mhm,
so probably not the same countries, but still separate blocks, right?
or even mega corporations that
Yeah.
have taken over entire islands or
Former
continents or
territories. Yeah.
countries.
Uh, long live the Empire of Macronesia.
Right.
Sequest fan here. Oh.
And what would happen if this just came to me just now? What if you had like a Brady Bunch situation where a man and a woman, they both separately get robo spouses, and then the
Yeah.
two humans perish, but then the two robots hook up.
Yeah. Well, can they? Can they? Do
Well, think about it. If
do
you made it,
robots do well? Do they have rights? Like you said, if not, they're just like property that's built to the family and then sold off. Because who
Mhm.
wants to bone their dad's sex doll?
Well, no, but what if? Okay, because I'm thinking,
George, answer this question.
uh,
Fuck you, Justin.
what was it? Oh, it was Archer. I
Yeah.
was. You guys watch Archer, right?
Only the odd episode.
What?
Only the odd
Well,
episode.
there was one episode where this girl became a cyborg, and she had a robo, private parts that was in the sink. You know. Anyways, back to what I was saying. If they're going to make female, uh, right, welcome to the show, Cal. If they make female bots that can carry to term a baby, well, they're also probably going to make male robots that can impregnate women, and and
Why are you harassing the poor boy?
I'm not. His mom is.
Yeah.
And if they did that, as you might or might not know, uh, uh, uh,
Uh,
they would have to get for the women, it's for the female robots, would be different. Uh, they could do that, but for the males, they're gonna actually have to you know get the parts from another dude. You know what I mean? To actually impregnate a woman through a robot. So there's all kinds
Uh,
of biological questions there. So who really is the dad? Is it the robot, or where'd they get that material, or would they find a way to artificially create that material?
well, this is the thing. Like we know now that the zygote,
Uh-huh.
the chemical in the the little your little friends that you've run out of because you're an old man. It cannot be replicated easily
Artificially,
artificially.
not yet.
Um, Not yet,
Through
but
clones, they would probably be able to pull that off.
yeah. So maybe you could like go to the Fun Bank Juice cloning store and
Right.
buy a pack to put into your male sex bot. But why the fuck you'd want to do that?
Well,
Um,
women, Cal was saying here, with the women in Japan, they're no
yeah.
longer able to carry, get pregnant because they've waited too long. Well,
Well, not
if
just
you
in
made if
Japan,
you
but
made fully functioning male and female robots, they could technically then hook up.
yeah. Um,
In which case, you'd have
uh,
a really weird freaking family.
yeah. Um, okay, so most likely you would have the male bot need to get his juice from some charge bank thing,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't preload that from factory, and
I,
then
God.
yeah.
uh,
There was like a rom com where like this guy, a guy and this girl. The girl's really busy, so she makes this this duplicate bot to help her out. And there's this guy, but he's like kind of like a bit of a dog, where he's just like sending the robot out on dates to see if he might like the girl. And then like eventually the robots start dating each other, and then of course murder happens or something. I forget what exactly happens, but it was crazy.
Should.
you gotta find the name of this show and send me the IMDb to it.
Right, because I'm thinking, they're either going to be completely just machines that simulate, human responses, or on the off chance they actually create an AI, then it actually becomes an intelligent, self-aware entity that a lot of people would argue for them to have rights. A lot of weirdos, a lot of people not realizing that that's just the end of humanity if they do so, because they'll outlive
Yeah,
us, and because they're smarter, they'll figure out ways to manipulate the stock market, become filthy rich, and do the whole Robin Williams thing and start creating, brand new technologies that continue to make them even richer and wealthier. And the next thing you know, humanity is a second class citizen.
yeah. Um, are the manufacturers do like in Blade Runner and give them like a 5 year lifespan?
Right.
Yeah.
Which, anybody who thinks that AI is not going to have such a thing, or easy kill switches and things like that, don't understand how technology works.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't buy a washing machine that'll last 2 years now. You think they're gonna?
Well, you can. You just have to like do the maintenance cycle, and most people won't do the maintenance cycle.
Right.
So
Well, no. When I bought my brand new washing machine, he said it's only going to be good for about 2 years.
Two
And
years.
yeah,
sometimes, yeah, sometimes
yeah,
they
Wow.
will build those flaws into it
yeah. No,
to
no,
just.
seriously. Most people don't know that you have to wash your washing machine.
Yep.
Most people like don't bother lifting the side panel. 'Cause you're supposed the side panel is designed to come off for a reason,
Right.
like and for you to do maintenance checks and like check the gaskets and shit like that.
Hmm.
Like they still print that shit on the inside of the side panel for your washer and your dryer. You're also supposed to do a proper not just empty the lint traps, but like you're supposed to actually clean the dryer as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you don't, it puts wear and tear on the motor.
Yeah, and will overheat it
Yeah,
because lint will escape the lint trap and get into other parts of
yeah.
the machine itself. Did we actually determine when AI would be a real thing? I I'm not seeing it right here on my. Oh, wait, here it is. Here it is. Let me take a look.
I think we
Uh,
said like after the war with Mars.
yeah, 2,300 AI breakthroughs, and I didn't.
Like real AI, not fucking large
Yes,
language model shit.
right. Okay.
Like like
So there's
machines that can comprehend concepts.
well, not only that, but are self aware and
Well, I think that's the big breakthrough with that is like the actually understanding what a fucking concept is. Like not the clinical data of an apple, but what an apple is, right? Like most people couldn't even do that.
true. So we have it here at 2,300. So that gives it, you know, more than 100 years in which to improve upon and make those things smaller and smaller. And smaller. Let's see, 23.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
actually, I have to change the date. It was 25, 25. So I thought it was 24, 24. So 200 years in which to micronize and perfect AI to where you could essentially fit it in
no,
the
no. Okay, we were doing 24, 24 before, but make it 25, 25 because that's a lot fucking funnier.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I literally
and
actually did do that.
Okay, okay, okay. Then leave it that because it's
I just
funnier.
screwed up. I have to fix the title anyways because I spelled Saturday wrong because I didn't have my glasses when I was typing on my tablet because that print of that particular screen and stream or restream is freaking tiny and I can't enlarge it. So
You know you can create default layouts
sure,
and then just like for the different shows you have and
right.
like leave them there.
Mhm. Yeah, it's. Uh, I haven't done so because a lot of them are like this show is always got a very different title, and I
Yeah,
think
but
if
you can
I'm
like the Saturday night sci-fi shadow chat
uh
can just stay, just
right,
add the rest
yeah.
because you can edit it every time.
So by 25, 25, theoretically they could have the AI package that would fit in the skull or the cranium or whatever you want to call it, and therefore literally in emergencies do the data head swap thing and just pull off the head and attach it to something else or hook it up to something else.
Yeah, I have no idea how he got that symbol either. Mer- Aquaman. How the fuck did you do that, bro? What 30 letters did you get to make the whatever the fuck that symbol is?
Uh,
Is it your
I
Spanish keyboard?
No, it's one of the like shift keys will uh, uh, give me all. If I hit it twice or something, I get onto a completely different page or keyboard of things I can type, and I just I literally almost fell asleep before the show with only 30 minutes to go for the show.
Uh,
That burrito hit me like a ton of bricks. I skipped breakfast and lunch, so when I finally ate, it was just like, oh, I ate too much, and I didn't even finish the burrito. My stomach shrank because that's what happens when you go all day without eating and then think, oh, I'll just make up for it now. No, don't try that. Maybe when you're younger, but once you get to my age, no. My stomach was about the size of an avocado, and I tried to eat like, a 2 pound burrito.
burrito.
So, yeah, it was good. So the last cultural phenomenon I came up with, and if you guys come up with any or have come up thought of anything while we're uh, doing this show, because I know you guys didn't do your homework. If you want to
Um,
ad lib one real quick,
well, I like the incessant gang warfare and like pieces of
like in the
utopia.
Warriors, where there's entire subcultures of
Yeah,
generational gangs and things like that, Judge Dredd style, the
yeah.
Warriors, even
Judge Dredd.
American Flag, which is a great great comic book by Howard Chaykin that you guys should check out if you can. I wish that was in an omnibus because it just had so much. And I find you get that more when you have one guy doing like almost everything, especially in the comic book world. Obviously in writing
Yeah.
you get that, but when you've got a comic book and you've only got to put out 28 pages a month back in the day, he put in so much, so many little nuggets in every panel that you could just go off on a tangent, an entire show like this on one little thing that's just off in the corner of one of his panels. But I like that. I'm going to write that
Yeah.
down as one of them. What do we want to call that? Generational gang culture.
Urban youth, you know, youths.
And you would get a lot of youth gangs in areas, very across
Oh, that's a code word for something, bro. This is the
across
news used to
between
use.
Charles Dickinson, Charles Dickens, the Artful Dodger kind of thing. Not the Artful Dodger, that's from Arthur Conan Doyle, but the combinations between those and the Baker Street Irregulars mixed with some of the gangs we have now, but then throw in things like different things of modern technology with cyberware and smart clothing and other
Yeah,
whatever it is on your cell phone that will probably be more wrist mounted. I don't know why we haven't gone that route yet.
you
Where you
mean
have
the iWatch?
well, yeah, but like the full on, Electro Woman and Dyna Girl freaking, bracelet thing with all the different gadgets built into it.
Watch a woman and Dinah Girl.
You don't remember that show? It's a Sid and Marty Croft thing. It's worth a peek.
Sounds
It was cute.
familiar.
Well, you remember Land of the Lost and things like that. Well, it
Yeah.
was one of the ones that came out around the same time, but a
I
little bit
watched a girl and
afterward.
Dinah.
And Doctor Shrinker and Sigmund the Sea Monster and Lost
What
Saucer,
was it called again?
Electro Woman and Dyna Girl. And Dyna Girl stole the show. She was the sidekick, in my opinion.
Electro Woman and Dinah Girl.
Yeah, it was. It was a thing. I'm just gonna say. But yeah, they had these watches that were bracers, whatever you want to call them, that had all kinds of gadgets, and every week they'd get a new gadget put in there so they could do other stuff. They had no powers. They were just it was all gadgetry. Even the car was ridiculous. I bet that golf cart thing they drove around in couldn't hit 10 miles an hour.
There was a 2016 8 episode
Reboot,
series live action.
because the original one was back in the early 80s. I want to say.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up just to see if they made it better and who they cast.
Oh no, they did not. I can guarantee you that right now.
Right, but I mean, it was the original was so bad that it really wouldn't take much to upgrade it.
There was one from 2001 as well.
Really?
Oh, 15 minutes short.
Okay.
1976, 16 episodes.
Was that it was 76, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. I had some pretty good taste as a young man, I guess.
DJ Hall and Judy Strangis.
I think Judy Strangest was the sidekick,
The
and
Dinah Girl, yeah.
I don't think they ever did anything else.
Well, I'll find out right now.
Okay. I remember Spy Kids. Was that with Antonio Banderas? Or am I thinking something else? Mar. Because I think Jackie used to watch something like that every once in a while, or we saw the movies or something.
Strangest was like one episode of this, one episode of that,
Okay.
and then later in her career, she did some voices on cartoons.
Okay.
But her last role was voicing some character on Batman the animated series in '94.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. That
Yeah,
they said, "Hey, is there any way we can get Dinah Girl for the voice?" I
yeah.
love when they do stuff like that. You know,
Well,
throw a
I
bone.
doubt they went looking for her. She probably.
Well, that's the thing. Because of the two genres being so similar, I could see them going. You know what? That would be cool if we did that. Or they were just sitting around the office talking about the episode and reminiscing, and it's like, yeah, hey, I bet she's not doing anything.
And the other chick, Electra Girl or
Mhm.
Electro Woman, she's been in 5,212 episodes of Days of Our Lives
Okay, that does not surprise me even a little bit.
since '76 to now.
God, she must have got all kinds of shit on off set doing that show.
Yeah.
I know I would have given her a hard time if I even if I was like key grip or something, humming that theme song every time she walked by.
Yeah, maybe for like the first 2 decades.
Yeah, or on her birthday, send her flowers and there's an electric woman and tiny girl card.
Uh, you okay there, George?
You smell burnt toast?
You're muted, bro.
You taste pennies?
You're still muted. Oh,
So the last one I came up with, which was actually the first one I came up with last week while we were talking about it, was the cults of personality.
oh, those will always be in and out, right? Like they
Well,
were actors for the last 40 years, and they're weirdos
no, no,
now.
no, 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 no. My take on it is people who literally in the year 2525 go to their plastic surgeon or whatever to make sure they look, sound, and can pass as Buddy Holly. And
Okay, okay,
so you have Elvis in 2525. But not only do
yeah.
you have Elvis, you have like 500. They each have a number.
Okay. So maybe they even have like chips in their head, and like there was an episode of
So
Black
where
Mirror. There was an episode of Black Mirror where there was like the sex bot thing,
okay,
but you it actually starred that British woman told you, Haley Atwell. Um, her husband dies, and she gets the thing, and it reconstructs his personality. They can do the best with
uh-huh.
all like his journal entrances and his social media,
Right, I
and
think I
like
actually remember that one.
yeah, okay, so maybe they do the same thing with Elvis or whoever. They take the best records they can, use AI to construct a personality construct, and then you get a chip in your head to make you act like him,
Yep.
like
Or at least sound like
unconsciously.
him. At least sound like him, and you know, be able
You
to do
basically
things.
become like you give your body over to be a non-clone clone of
Whoever.
whoever you're.
And
Yeah.
I figure that could extend all the way back to sub niches like the presidents. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
people who are all now. There's an Abraham Lincoln walking around. There's a George Washington.
You
Uh,
ever you ever watch Rick and Morty?
no,
No, you should. There's this thing called the Council of Ricks,
okay,
right? So, because he does a multiverse thing, right?
sure.
It's because they couldn't do time travel. He originally wanted to do Back to the Future. That's why it's like an old guy and a teenager.
Hmm.
Um,
I've seen a couple episodes, and
yeah, yeah,
there were characters in it that I didn't like, to the point it's like,
yeah.
I'm
Well, one of the things that develops over this series is this thing called the Council of Ricks, and it's like all the different versions of Rick, the scientist guy, the
Mhm.
maniacal scientist guy. Uh, some of them have like created this government, and they have like a space station that's in the multiverse,
Okay.
and like there are like thousands of Ricks and Mortys walking around this thing,
Okay.
and they're
Yeah.
all treating Morty like an underclass.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Marilyn Monroe's and
Yeah, so there would be like, and of course, the more of them there are, the more wealthy their organizations are. So you get
yes.
like the I don't know, pick some pathetic like the Andy Dick Society.
Oh,
They're all living like Andy Dick.
oh, no,
You know,
no. There would be a
strung out
war.
on coke in some trailer, having gay
There would
relations with some fucking weirdo,
there would be war.
denying it.
But yeah, it would be a great way. Like Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah.
Where you could bring a character that's almost identical, but different in enough ways to make it your own, so to speak. And if
Fuck
you
you, we're having an Andy Dick Society.
What about
he's,
cloning? Like,
he's
what
the
about
biggest celebrity of 2035.
what about historic figures? You think they could clone, like, just find they're pretty sure Ramses II. They have his mummy. Like, you could clone Ramses II. Maybe you can. Who couldn't? Could you imagine what happens if somebody tries to clone the blood from the Shroud of Turin or something, and you find out it's just some other guy, or he's just kind of lame, or what else? I guess there's some historic figures that you probably get DNA from. Of course, we
sure,
know.
sure, I thought about that, and you could literally go back as far as you want because it's
Okay.
sci-fi,
Oh,
and
okay.
somehow the DNA survived or whatever.
Our technology is advanced that they can like reconstitute it.
Sure,
Um, but like you are a byproduct of your observations and influences, right?
exactly.
Uh, so okay, so two people clone Jesus. So you got two clones of Jesus, but they've both like lived for like 5 or 6 years in the world before they realize the other one's out there. So they have totally different opinions on things. They've diverged.
Uh-huh.
So assuming the clones
So you
have
got a
all the
good,
Mm,
you got a
memories,
good Jesus and an evil Jesus. Is that what you're getting at?
well, they're not good and evil as much as like just have different opinions on abstract stupidities.
yeah,
Okay.
So they're a bit so there's like the the Jesus debates, and then some other guy clones of Jesus, and then he has like totally different. So,
and
so,
like and
so they
what
had to outlaw like cloning celebrities in I don't know 2450 or something like that.
and then there's like one Jesus who's just like into like banal stuff, like just like he's like not really interested in like culture or stuff. He just collects like Pokemons or something.
The true way to salvation is the Charizard card.
I was gonna say Funko Pops, but that works.
Fun-
No, that's a different Jesus. The Jesus of the pop, the Funko Pop.
Genetically modified Funko Pops are just like Funko Pops, but they're really flesh and blood creatures.
I could see, and you do not want to know what people get up to those motherfucking things,
Yeah.
because nobody owns one of
So
those things without
there's
going into the
there's
bedroom.
a whole line of Richard Gere Funko Pops,
Yes.
and they look nothing
Gerbils.
like him.
Gerbil Funko Pops. Just
They all look like French picklers.
Yeah. The Richard Gere Funko Pop comes with a small gerbil And the gerbil is always the hardest thing for the surgeon to get out of the butthole. Because when
Hey,
someone
that's a
puts the
good one, Mar. To make fictional characters real.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
about that
yeah.
too when you were talking about that.
Oh,
For next week, I've got a great idea. Uh,
Well,
I don't know what you'd get used to after a couple of years, but
the-
sorry I missed that one, Mar. Um, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna you literally have like guilds or fraternities. You know, the fraternal order of Elvis, the Grand
yeah,
Poobah is the first Elvis, and they all have not serial numbers, but ID numbers to
yeah,
know
yeah.
which Elvis or which Buddy Holly they are.
Yeah,
You know,
well, it's also like how far have you submitted your personality to the personality matrix,
yeah, there could
right?
be that
So
too.
so like if the first Elvis, like the first one to go through with like the full transformation, like retained so much of himself, he probably would be lower on the rank
Right.
because he was less pure.
Yeah,
hmm.
I like that. It's creepy and deranged,
Yeah,
but I like it. Because I mean,
yeah.
think of how fun it would be. You know, if you were like, if you were filming this, right? You know,
Yeah,
you could have little Easter eggs. You know, there's Mamie Van Doren in the background just walking by, something
yeah,
like that. You know,
yeah,
but then she bumps in, and there's like four of them. You know, or something like that. You know,
yeah,
the
yeah,
George
yeah.
Takei Society. You know, oh wait, there's only one
The
because
those
The
Shatner's still on.
Highlander Society, the Highlander Society.
just people randomly cutting each other's heads off.
Yeah,
Well, that
yeah, like
Oh,
there
oh,
could only be one.
I forget
okay,
the
yeah,
name
yeah.
of. There's this one author, Rolf Bloodthorn. He's just kind of a regular guy. He writes some stuff for like RPGs and stuff, and he's I forget the name of the books, but like his future is like people like people who are like into like World of like a Warhammer. They literally have a planet where they're building their Warhammer armies, fighting each other, and they're all, like actually doing it and stuff like that. And there's other ones where they're like weird anime people who are just into anime and they turn themselves into like bunny rabbits and things. And
Right,
it's kind
because
of
that's another thing, you know, with plastic surgery and things like that. You know, we talked about the furries, but you'd literally, you know, get people who would be turning themselves into mind flayers or
yeah
something like that, you know, through for
yeah
whatever bizarre reason. And you're going
Oh,
to have so many more people, even though we're only dealing with the 9 planet solar system, you know, and all the moons and stuff like that. You don't really get the full reign of the galaxy to do a lot of weird stuff, but you still get, you're going to have, you know, small little groups of people that are going to do very weird things. You know, instead of cybernetics, there's going to be what do they call it? Where it's living organs and stuff, uh, like
oh,
biotechnology. Where
what, where, what, where?
yeah, where you know
mm,
people have two hearts because they can. You know, or maybe you know the government says, hey, you know, having super soldiers with two hearts might not be a bad thing, or weird other things. You know, horns and you know a third eye that works, or you know
Hey, man, the second it's possible, I'm breeding myself a race of cat girls. I'll never
yeah.
play with them because it's fucking wrong, but I'm creating them just out of spite.
One thing I'm thinking is in if you guys read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep,
I
the whole
actually have a copy of it still.
Yeah,
ah
yeah, yeah. I
so
saw the
the
movie.
whole the mood organ. This wasn't in the movie part, but it was in
Shut up.
the book.
The movie was a
It-
faithful and peerless adaptation of the
the
book.
I've listened. I didn't read the book. I've listened to the
So
audio
far.
book with Matthew Modine and Callista Flockhart doing the voices.
Callista Flockhart.
Good to know,
Yeah.
Mark.
So they have this thing called the mood organ, where like I'm gonna dial and I'm pissed off because like it begins with like he's having an argument with his wife, and they're like both planning on dialing in venom into their mood organs to just try to win the fight. But it's like okay, just dial it. It's like oh, that's what it was. She was dialing in unusual settings like depression and stuff like that, and like you can dial in like different emotions. I'm wondering if like in the future you could just dial in personalities. Like I'm gonna be like I don't know, just like some awesome guy. I don't know.
You dial in confidence
Hmm.
or something like that.
Yeah.
That you might be lacking, or would there even be those deficits anymore after a certain point?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just Callista Flockhart, man.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Decker. I remember her voice. They're trying to do like a
Yeah.
50s secretary voice.
I don't know if you know who Callista Flockhart is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ally,
Isn't
Ally
that
Ally
McBeal.
McBeal.
Harrison Ford's wife?
Yes.
Which makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. She could have done better.
I was going to say he could have done better, but okay.
No.
Guess they were made for each other. Um, she was a weirdo, just weird.
Yeah.
I remember that scary movie too, and she's being the black girl's being chased by like a skeleton, and she turns around. Why am I screaming? It's like I'm running away from Callista Flockhart. And she just turns around and beats up the skeleton.
Ah. She's skinny, but not that skinny. I gotta watch that again.
But Ally McBeal,
Yeah.
Not scary movie too.
No.
What was the one where the guy's like, "Hold my hand, hold my hand. This is my good hand."
oh, what was that guy's name? He was like
He was big for a little bit, like for like maybe 2 years.
something Green, I want to say.
He kind of has a Tom Green feel, but no, what's his name?
Okay.
He had,
Scary Movie 2? Was it?
one or two he was in, and he was
Scary Movie 2.
a Cabin Boy. Was he in Cabin Boy? These pipes are clean. It had like Bill
That's
Murray's
the first one I
brother
haven't
in it.
thought about in a long time. That guy was just. And the other guy who was playing counter to him, the guy, I think he was in a wheelchair. He used to be kind of, like that, but he had dark hair. I think his last name was Gross.
Paul Gross.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, if it was the guys that like owned the house that they were in, like
I don't know if
the
he owned
the
the house, but he was like,
the mansion, the grounds guy or whatever,
yeah,
and he had the fake hand.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I couldn't stand either of them. I can't imagine allowing oneself to be, sort of typecast and stereotyped into that sort of permanently awkward, gawky sort of phase for the rest of your career. I think I'd rather be a dentist.
Yeah,
Who?
that that happened to Bob Denver, Gilligan.
Yep.
He's like never got anything after that. Maybe just like some residuals, which they got shitty ones from those days.
Well, he was in enough shows prior to that, so that he might have done well for a while, and if he was smart. But since
Mm,
we haven't heard his name in 20 or 30 years, there's a good chance that wasn't the case.
yeah, that was a staple of my childhood. Like
What?
when yeah, like if I was out, they wouldn't play. They didn't play at normal times, but if I was out sick or
Right.
it was a holiday, because they didn't do like holiday schedules. They just kind of kept on the same schedule. It sucked. Like if like Memorial Day or something, or whatever holiday, like one of those Monday holidays, you just
Mhm.
like it is regular TV. So like it was mostly soap operas and stuff. But at least in the morning they had like old TV shows like
Hogan's
Gilligan's Island.
Heroes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Get smart.
Yep.
Get Smart. Yeah, that was another one. Like if it was a half day, I could watch Get Smart. That was cool. That was one of my favorite.
It was on just after I got home from school.
Right.
Oh,
I think it was
cool.
on like 4:30 or 5 for us
Yeah.
after Spider-Man, and then Star Blazers, and then I think that
Can't
was on right before
remember
the
what
news.
the other show was. I think it was the Munsters. The Munsters Get Smart, like the old Munsters. The one with
Right.
the guy from My Cousin Vinny, the judge, which is not the first
Yeah,
one.
Yeah.
Fre-
I can't remember
Fred
his name.
Gwynn.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. That's like the third Munsters TV show.
They had what was there?
Yeah,
He was in Car 54.
Mhm.
yeah,
He was in oh god, Pet Cemetery.
yeah. Well, I'm saying that like that shocked me because I looked it up TV show.
Really?
He was third.
He was
Uh,
third. Oh well,
yeah,
with him.
yeah. He
Oh,
was like the
I have
third time he
I
played
have
the dad.
no knowledge of prior monsters.
There were like two other actors that played that character before him in different
Oh, oh,
different TV shows,
hmm.
and I think there was a movie as well
I
from
think it
like the
may have
'50s.
might have started as a comic book or something.
huh.
Uh, Maybe I don't remember. I just remember that because I looked it up, and I was shocked because like Brendan Fraser played him once. The guy from Sliders played the character once. And then there were some other people. I think Boris Karloff played the character once. I might be wrong about that one though.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Monsters.
yeah,
I was never a big fan of that show. I was more an Adams Family guy. I just
yeah.
it was just too it was too silly. It had no it didn't have the originality the Adams Family had.
Well, it wasn't original.
Yeah, yeah.
Remake
No, I mean
remakes always suck.
well, I mean it was just so full
Oh,
of like bad writing. Just really just nothing to it. It like it was literally like it was written by Chat GPT back then. You know that
well, yeah. Well, that's the
Arrow.
that's the thing I hate. Everybody says like it's written by ChatGPT. Trust me, ChatGPT, though retarded, is a better writer than you. You out there, you.
Me too. I didn't produce anything yet, so he's more
Yeah.
prolific than me.
Well, I
Uh,
mean it only has all of everything humanity's ever written to draw upon. So
well, I think that's the most uh, thing most people get wrong about it is it doesn't actually reference the work that's put into it. All it does is uh, assign a weight to words in correlation to other words, and then uh, integrate that data into its algorithm. It doesn't actually
Yeah.
store writings or scripts in some
I thought it
big thing.
just went and looked for things like it does with AI art.
No, even AI art, um, like you'll take a picture, diffuse it into static, like snow on a TV, like old school, old school snow.
Mhm.
It diffuses an image into static, and then adds a weight to that static based on the category of thing. So, picture of an apple. They'll say this is a picture of an apple. Diffuse it into static, and then break that static into math and store it in its algorithm for apple. It doesn't store the image.
Huh.
Yeah. So when it knows this static pattern is supposed to be an apple, it can then generate an apple from that, but it won't be the same image as it was before. It will be like a different image of an apple. or a horse. It can take a static image of an apple and turn it into a horse if you tell it to. It'll just be one fucked up fucking horse because it's trying to do it with the math from an apple. You know?
Yeah, I've seen some creepy shit
Yeah.
that AI has done in the way of imagery lately, and
Yeah.
people still, you know, because I'm subscribed to a couple of AI channels for AI art on YouTube, and some of the things that people still put up, you know, on their channel, even though they're these glaring mistakes.
It's good enough.
I was like, I saw this one thing, and it literally is going to haunt me for the rest of my days. This woman was touching, like, moving her hand down something, right, and she had basically 10 fingers, and her all her fingers. It was like watching like some brand new freaking amoeba creature. You
Well,
know, it was just
that's why they're so bad with fucking hands, right? It's because there's just too many variable
variable.
options.
It was
Um,
just
and they're
so
getting better.
freaking creepy.
So
Yeah,
I'm on Reddit. I have a Reddit account. Yeah, I'm a filthy redditor as of like 2 years ago. Uh,
come on back when
but
you get a chance, George.
yeah, he's obviously gone to deal with kids fighting. Bad children, bad tasers coming out. um, you want to subscribe over there for like what people have done, but because it's the Christmas season, I've been getting like, look at this photo of a lovely couple in front of a Christmas tree, and then you notice the guy has 6 fingers. Like it's like perfect. Looks like it just came off of someone's camera, but there's an extra pinky.
Yep, yep. That bums
uh,
me out when I'm generating images, and it's like, oh my god, this. Oh crap! There's a
yeah.
third leg
Well,
or an
that's
extra
the.
arm.
And I bet if you had the paid feature of that, they would have the paint tool where
No,
you
it
get.
actually has one, but I just haven't played around with it.
Okay,
And
you should do
the
that
the one
because
time I did, it just like airbrushed everything out. But you could tell it's been airbrushed out and it doesn't fix, like by adding background or what have you to fill in the blank that you just erased. I'm like, I can't use this. I'll
okay.
try again.
So
And
so the one on Stable Diffusion does generate like replacement within the context of what you wrote. So yeah,
but I mean, I've out of, let's say, I've created somewhere around 1,500 images in about 70 days. I've only deleted a couple of hundred, so it's worth it for what I'm doing to deal with the images that are imperfect. Just freaking delete them and forget about
yeah.
them and move on. And if it's like a theme or an image I'm really not there with, I'll generate 30 or 40 images, before I finally get the one I want the most, and then I still get some extras that are okay, and then I'll just trash the rest.
There there were some when I tried using Night Cafe for the character photo
Mhm.
for the game, which I'm still toying with little things on. Um, I changed the actual guy in the one I showed you before
Okay.
because I could use the in-paint thing. And now I'm just trying to get the girl's face to come out clearer, and it's I think coming
Yeah.
along
Well,
okay.
one of the prompts I use is I always use the word like beautiful or handsome, and then it focuses more on that. Oh, sorry, guys. And it'll
Yeah.
focus more on those things. Same thing with like skinny or fat or
Mm.
slender. If you say those things, it'll tighten those things up or loosen them up as.
Um, I was dealing more with like blurry
Mm.
blurry than anything else. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'll try those
eyes are
keywords.
eyes are sometimes an issue as well. In addition to hands and feet,
Yeah,
that sometimes you'll be like, oh, that looks cross-eyed, you know.
cross-eyed. No, it was more like the features where you know how like sometimes they're blurred
Uh-huh.
or they're like
Yeah, yeah, that's another one too,
uh,
because I was trying to do a character that was literally snarling, and she's just grinning from ear to ear, and I'm like, that's not a snarl.
yeah. You gotta look up synonyms. I sent you that writing tool called like the Emotion Bible or whatever.
Mhm.
It might have good words in that for that kind of thing.
Right.
Um, but yeah, next thing I'm gonna do after getting that face done is like the specific objects my character is supposed to be holding, like the brass horn and all that. Which I really think it would be cool if he was walking around with like five of those fucking things. One for Vikings, one for like I don't know samurai. Ah, fucking know. Just pulls one out.
Or I don't know. This is better yet, having like a trumpet,
Trumpet.
that has more ability to modulate the sound, and
Uh,
then you can just push a button, so to speak, and get something instead of having to carry around a tinker's freaking haul worth of tin cans and tin horns.
it'd be funnier that way.
Bulky though, and if you fell down the stairs, you'd be screwed.
Yeah, I'm willing to live with it.
Fair enough. We
Yeah.
wish.
Uh, we wish
So you
what?
guys looking forward to tomorrow? I am.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had a
yeah, yeah.
I had a okay week with the games I was in, but
My fucking nose is bugging me.
it's no your face is bugging me, but you don't hear me complaining.
Just heard you complain,
I know, right?
douche
Isn't
weasel.
Frostmourne an evil cursed sword? Wouldn't having five of them rip your soul to pieces as the evil swords fight for control of you? I'm not familiar with Frostmourne. Uh, I'm familiar with Morn Blade, but not that one. But yeah, if 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 a dungeon master literally did that to you, you need to punch him in the gut.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Um. I don't have a magic sword. Magic swords are for pussies. Sentient swords are for weirdos.
I thought you had a flaming
That
sword.
shut up. That doesn't count. Uh,
Oh, okay.
it doesn't talk to me or nothing.
Well, maybe
The,
it
the,
just
the,
it knows you and is keeping silent until somebody better comes along.
if it fucking says a word, it's going into Mount Doom.
Gotcha.
Just saying. I don't trust the players in our party that have swords that are talking to them as it is.
Yeah, they're just ventriloquists fucking with you
Yeah,
and the rest of the party. Oh yeah, my sword's magical. It says go over
yeah,
here. That would be the greatest shtick ever.
yeah. I'll have to steal that for a future game.
Tell me that isn't a great idea.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I have a magic sword. It's called schizophrenia.
Hey, you pull it out of the scabbard, and you have to make the fake ah, noise. The every
Yeah.
time you pull it out.
Uh,
No worries, Cal. We're gonna have some fun tomorrow. At least that's the goal. Because I I got some fun stuff planned for you guys tomorrow. But before we go off, I want to finish up the sci-fi thing for next week's homework, and I'll send George a message, or I'll try to remember. Hopefully,
remind
George.
me on the Friday because I can think of stuff
Well, I kind of did.
I don't remember.
I know it was kind of a weird one, but um, unless George and you want to revisit this one next week and come up with more, because I mean this is a topic that you could just come up with 100 easy, weird cultural phenomenons that, depending on your personal preferences and stuff, that you could just come up with all kinds of great new things to help make your universe or your world different. It's one of the key elements that, every Star Trek episode had one.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was like it was the underlining, basis for most of those stories.
Space hippies, and then the people who actually hunt down space hippies, because
The 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 Charon, the black and white, the white and black guy, that thing, all the different ways that shows like
yeah. But it won't be the Sharon where they're white on one side and black on the other. It'll be people who become furries and people who have some self respect and deal with furries the way they're supposed to be dealt with.
the white
White
phosphorus
phosphorus.
distributors. Sure, sure.
Yeah.
And all of the cultural conflict that you could
Ugh.
devise for the players to, bump into, picking a side, all of the, especially like Next Generation, that had all those, you know social justice kind of issues, you know
Oh, the original series did too.
right. But since I wasn't uh as aware of that, I was watching the original Star Trek as a kid, and I stopped watching it, roughly a little bit before the Next Generation came out, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch this. This is, okay. For the time, I didn't see it for what it was, and then, you know they weren't better about it, but there were so many new issues that they could bring into science fiction, and slap a coat of paint over them, and if you weren't paying too much attention, you might not notice what the
Yeah.
message was.
Yeah. Like I keep mentioning this show, Dark Skies, and you always mistake it for Falling Skies.
Mhm.
Um, I was just looking it up because Jerry Ryan was in that show, uh, and it was like the mid 90s, yeah, mid 90s, late
Okay,
90s. I think in '96, before just before she was on Voyager.
I think I watched some episodes of it on Netflix.
Dark Skies.
Was it the one where like people disappeared and came back?
No.
Okay,
Um. Fuck.
that's the book, by the way, folks.
Yeah. Dark Skies. Yeah, '96. They only did 19 episodes of it. It got a premature cancellation. No, it was the senator's aide stumbles across Project Blue Book, and then he's forced to go on the run. And it turns out Blue Book was actually fighting an invasion
Huh.
of brain parasites. The Greys were just their previous race that these parasites had
Okay.
absorbed.
Huh. That sounds fun.
And they captured his fiance, and then Jerry Ryan was like a Soviet agent that was helping because they were also dealing with it.
Hmm.
And like the secret organization was after um, the main character as well because he was trying to blow the whistle, and then he ended up getting absorbed by Project Blue Book because he realized they're the right way to go. It was a conspiracy show, right? Like it was a full on conspiracy
Mhm.
show. But like the constant browbeating you with the moralistic questions of 1960 whatever in the mid 90s, right? Like
What's the point? It's over.
what's the point? What's over? It's like okay, it's in the topic, but you're making these things the jour of the episode instead of like shit in the background. Shit in the background, I understand for flavor of the environment,
Mhm.
but when it's forefront in the A plot of the story, it becomes moralistic browbeating instead of set dressing.
You got to
Yeah.
wonder if I, I I would literally look into the writers of said show, and start with finding out their age. You
Oh
know,
no, no, no! You know they were all like in their 40s when these things were actually going on, and full on activists. The writers were definitely in their 50s and 60s when the show was written. Um,
okay,
so like they were in the heart's blood of
those
that move
issues, yeah,
of those
which would lead
issues.
me to believe that that they didn't get a chance to do something about it then. They're going to try and do something about it now when it's the most meaningless point, in history to try to fix a problem you literally can't because it's no longer 1960,
Yeah.
and so many other things are more important or relevant for the 1990s, and
Oh,
you can just use that ability to write like that to address current events as opposed to try to fix the past, which is
okay. So no, they were younger than I suspect, but like Brent Friedman and what was the other guy's name? Bryce Zabel. You know what kind of names those are. Um, both of them worked on like Star Trek, I think. Uh, hey, Zabel worked on 20 episodes of Lois and Clark. I'm watching that right now. If you didn't catch that at
right.
the beginning of the show, the audience. Um, those are the two guys that created Dark Skies. Like, it's a great premise, right? I, I like the characters. I like what was going on, but obviously you could have that kind of thing. Like there's always a constant threat of like, did the Martians land a fifth column in? Do the gas clouds of what's Venus have the
Mhm.
ability to possess your mind? So you always got like a paranoid group going around. So you could do that as a social phenomenon. Like there's the what's the world's tabloid magazine? Right? Like what's the Inquirer of your game?
Mhm.
Is it just the Inquirer? The Inquirer is the oldest newspaper in history. It's like
Right.
560 years old.
I also I don't know how you guys feel out there about trying to do things humorous like that. You know, uh, finding ironies in modern day, and bring them all the way into the future when you're
Yeah.
when you're doing science fiction gaming,
The Inquirer, the only newspaper you can trust.
because it's been around forever. They have all the dirt on everybody. It's actually some gigantic, intergalactic blackmailing ring.
No, no, it's
It's
just a
been around
legitimate
actually
paper.
since it's actually been around thousands of years, uh,
Well,
all the way
well,
back to
you
biblical
don't
times.
have to fake the age of it, right? It's just still around
No,
because it's
it's
been
actually
500 years.
it's actually been the Inquirers. It's been this secret society for thousands of years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, even if you kept it just the way it is in like reality, but all the other newspapers have like collapsed,
Yeah.
and it's just still going.
As a matter of fact, it makes so much money it can still afford to be in print.
In actual print, and it's gained integrity
Oh, for
each
sure.
year. So it's like the most respectable newspaper in 500 years.
How do you guys out there in TV land feel about that kind of stuff? Because I've noticed that every sci-fi game I've been in, uh, it's always about the exact
What year
opposite
was
of
the
what we're
Inquirer
talking about.
founded?
It's always about the action and adventure, and this one plot, or couple of plots woven together, but they never touch on the anything even remotely humorous within the society and the culture. It's always serious. The aliens are serious. The weird offshoots of humanity are serious. There's never any, you know, work put into stuff like that.
So I asked what year was the Inquirer founded, and it said the Philadelphia Inquirer. Is that the actual newspaper?
I don't know.
Commonly just referred to as the Inquirer. If it is the Philadelphia Inquirer, I don't know. Um, it's already the third longest running newspaper in the U.S. as of today.
Videos up to 343 views.
Yours?
Yeah.
Nice. Say hi.
Hello.
Uh, what are you doing? I hear
Um,
I hear you made a new episode of your acid trip.
Yeah, and it's already up to 343 views.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're better at this than your old man.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
The National Enquirer. Okay. Thank you, Mar Hockman.
as the National Enquirer,
Yeah.
you
You gotta call me after soon.
you're gonna be hard pressed to maintain that momentum.
I suppose, yeah.
Oh, it's 100 years younger. 1926.
Yeah, but by 2020 25 25, you
That
know,
makes it like 600 years old. Well, 599.
mhm. But yeah, it'll be celebrating its 600th birthday.
In season 2 of your
Yeah.
yeah. The other one was 1829.
Come on,
Oh,
yeah. Oh, go get Jackie. Oh, you can't go get him. See. So, if you guys out there watching this later have any things you want to like share with us, any ideas of cultural phenomenons, uh, put them in the comment section and share it with us, and maybe I'll find ways to integrate them into the game next year. The next item I wanted to cover, because I think this would actually be a thing,
mhm,
uh, because of all the things we've talked about, would be brand new life, man-made life forms.
mhm. Yeah, I think George was getting at with like the Funko Pops,
Yes,
where they're like semi-organic, and like what Furby. Remember Furby?
sure.
What Furby kind of promised it would be, but never was. Like it could talk to you and shit like that. And I don't know if that comes close to uplift, but I don't know if it wasn't actually sentient. It was dumb as a dog.
But there are going to be
Yeah,
hybrid species, or based on of this but changed to that.
yeah,
Thundar tinkered with that. Gen spliced genetic monsters,
yeah.
chimeras, things like that. It's going to be a thing, and
Jimmy's home genetics kit. That was from not Moon's Harsh Mistress. One of those Heinlein books where they instead of a science kit, it was a genetic engineering kit.
it might have even been the Moon is a Heart's Mistress,
Yeah,
because I remember that, and I've only read so many Heinlein books,
yeah,
unless it was one of the like R for Rocket, S for Space, kids books back in the day, where he
yeah.
was just being kind of tongue in cheek to see if the kid would ever figure that craziness out. But I was
Yeah.
thinking more along the lines of uh,
Hmm.
industrial the industrial creation of things like organisms that would clean out the pipes of the factory and extremophiles and things like that that they make bigger or like tardigrades that you can see at the zoo, just weird crap like that, that would
Yeah,
actually serve a very specific purpose for
yeah, yeah.
some company or another. Thunder even had an evil, I'm guessing you're saying witch character who could use magic to transform things into monster forms. Her pet Deadlon might actually have been a monster she created. Yeah. If you remember in The Watchmen, what the hell was that pet that Osmandius had up in the North Pole?
That was an actual cat. That was extinct. Give me a minute. I'll look it up.
Oh, really? Like a giant lynx or something? Because it was weird looking, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And while we're on that subject, uh,
Lynx bubasti was the breed.
okay,
Uh, Bubastis, maybe.
yeah, that was the name. Its name. I don't know if that was, it was. I'm guessing it was based on its species, as in it's like the first of.
Yeah.
Nice. I need to get one of those too, Cal. Send me a link if you can, or I'll just look on Amazon. Servals.
uh, Bubastis. Okay, the name of the animal was Bubastis. It was a lynx. It was a giant lynx.
Okay, but you know, other than the primates, I can see them, genetically mixing and or
Yeah,
just modifying, and then also dinosaurs or
yeah.
other extinct species that they may try to bring back, by having, hey, what's up, Paul? We were talking about new ways to get DNA from things that are long gone.
Mm-hmm.
It still is for our traveler game tonight. We were talking about cultural phenomenons that I'm going to incorporate into the worlds of the year 2525 for this game, seeing what we can, you know, come up with to make the worlds and the people more interesting instead of just a uh, amalgamation of their skills and stats, as so many are in
Yeah,
sci-fi games. It's, oh, he's a really good this, or he's really great at that, or he's, no, 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 no. I want to know, like, you know like when I go out, right? I mean, you guys know I've got long
yeah,
hair, a beard, I wear leather, junk like that. People, they see me coming and they know all kinds of stuff about me. If their brain, functions on that kind of level, they can tell that, hey, he probably likes metal music, or things like that. And who was that character, that weird chick on that uh, like police drama? Was it, you know? Well, there was that girl in Criminal
hmm
Minds. She was all really weird with glitter and trolls and sparkly crap everywhere.
yeah, yeah. Um, I don't remember the character's name, but
But you know what I'm talking about. When you saw that
yeah,
character, you knew when you saw her outside the office, she was just like she was in the office, which I wouldn't
yeah,
tolerate in my place of business. Like, keep that crap at home. It's a profession.
yeah,
But when you meet her, after hours and she's at the club or just having a drink by herself, you walk in, you see her, you're like, oh, I already know you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I could probably make 10 assumptions and be right on 7 of them.
Yes, most people are a set of beliefs and not individual opinions. They download them
Right.
as a block. Uh,
Thank you, Paul. NCIS Goth Girl. That's the
yeah,
one
yeah.
I was initially thinking of.
I want to address something off topic that Cal mentioned. about the sale. That's why I put the T Public link
Okay.
in the chat. Um, they have that sale like every 3 days.
Okay.
T Public is more on sale at 30 to 35% off than they are not on sale. Just generally saying.
Yes, that Paul, that's kind of what we're getting at for next week's discussion. Because tonight it was the cultural things that are not necessarily really tangible. They're it's all up here.
Yeah.
How the people live and act and what they do for fun and profit, if you will, as opposed to things you can quantify on with a microscope or something like that.
You
Um,
definitely should take all the ideas we gave you for stuff and put them in one Google Doc. That way, like I don't know, collate it very well.
Yeah, I've got all my notes here. I just if I go into Google Docs, I'm kind of focused on one thing
Yeah.
or another.
Well,
And
that way you can just like if you missed one of these meetings or you've forgotten something we talked about, you can go, you can hit the tab for like street gangs and the sub tab for
maybe I'll
each.
just because I do have the one for Archaeotech and I think something else. Maybe I'll see if I can squish them together.
Yeah, just copy and paste them. Copy and paste from one into the other. You know. Well,
That's
create your own. Don't use one that I created or George created or whoever. Right. Um,
Yeah, I wanted to get all the like D&D shirts, and I looked for things like Boot Hill, Gamma World Traveler T-shirts. I couldn't find anything like that, so
yeah.
now I'm going to go with old TV shows. Uh,
You know what you could do is make them yourself.
sure,
Get the images and just
yeah, I'm going to
is
have
it
to do that. I'm going to have to do that with the Gamma World for sure because that one's just
especially when you get the new computer you're talking about and it's powerful
right.
enough to run stable diffusion,
Yeah,
take the image, bring it into that because you can do that, and then just change something about it. Right, like so if you like have like a, a picture from a role playing game that has like a wizard and you change the wizard to like elf or something,
right.
it's now a mashup of those things, and they tend not to care too much if you do that.
Hmm.
Um, instead of like just taking an image from something and copying it.
Yeah, Paul, we kind of talked about a lot of those things with the elimination of flaws in the human being. I think it was last week we were talking about the timeline of the things that have happened over the last 500 years.
Mm. Well, Cal, with the playing God, if we're playing a science fiction game, that's still fantasy. It's just not magic fantasy; it's technology fantasy.
Yeah, just trying to, you know, second guess or predict what a future 500 years from now would look like by plotting out the different things that would happen and when they would happen to get a little more fleshed out version of our solar system in, in the future, what it would be like to game there, because even like the most in-depth games that I've read, sci-fi games, they miss so many of the things that if they were making a TV show or a movie they wouldn't miss somehow. I don't know if it's because the game designers are too busy focusing on mechanics and things like that versus the actual
Yeah,
culture. Whereas when people are making a TV show or a movie, you get subliminal messages through the decor and seeing street signs or the the cliche like bills that are up on walls, like the posters that they used to slap on walls, and you'll see something like that, and it'll tell you a whole bunch of stuff about the world by just having that one little poster up on the wall. You know,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
picture's worth 1,000 words, and we're
Or
trying to do stuff like that.
I liked
I read Rogue Trooper in the newspaper from the UK because my dad used to get a bunch of those. Like every so often, one of his coworkers would bring back a bunch of those uh, 2000 AD newspapers that would have Doctor Who, Rogue Trooper, Judge Dredd, and uh, I wish I kept those, but there's no way that would they would survive because they were literally newspapers that were flimsier than regular newspapers. If that makes any sense.
yeah. Um
And you're not wrong, Cal. It's all fantasy because it's
yeah.
not real. And
Yeah. Uh fuck Almost Human was really
right,
good with that, like the subtle stuff in the background.
yep.
The Tech War TV show is pretty good at that, even though it was a little cheesily and cheaply made.
Well, I would be.
Uh,
I think it'd be safe to say that almost everything except Star Trek was good at that because Star Trek was like watching, a hospital set. Inside the
yeah,
ship there was nothing. The little bits of decoration that the characters had in their stateroom was like there's no way that's all they have. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, that also says a lot about the culture, like how sterile and
Mhm. Well, partially because they could just go to the replicator and have anything made they wanted, and they might
yeah,
often just recycle things more than we can even possibly imagine because of that
yeah,
technology. It's like, well, you don't need that. You can just go get it. You just have one made, as opposed to like in Babylon 5, where the
yeah.
newspapers were actually on those clear sheets of plastic. Remember that?
Yeah, like they're still printed. That's why I made that joke earlier. But and for some reason they're printing it still. Um, Mar Hockman, William Shatner had tech work ghost written for him. He didn't actually write it.
Yeah.
That's like a thing he admitted to a few
That
years
game's
ago.
so good it's real. Yeah, well, we haven't really got into that. That's going to
Yeah,
be one later on down the line. Is new forms of entertainment, and I wanted to do a whole show on things like, augmented reality games, the holodeck, you
yeah,
know, other things because the the like in Star Trek, there could be vast swaths of humanity or alien life that don't have a lot of possessions because they're heavy to carry. I mean, you literally, like when our astronauts first went up, they were only allowed to carry what, like 2 pounds of personal effects with them.
yeah. That's a
Because,
lot.
right, but that's why you got the famous golf scene. Because he found a collapsible golf club that he could take with him, and a golf ball that probably took up probably over a pound of what he brought with him,
Hmm.
and that
Hmm.
was me. I'd be bringing a book. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have some
Yeah.
downtime in this mission. What am I gonna do? Just dream about hitting that one golf ball off into space? No.
Well, that was quite the visual stunt.
Yeah, I don't even think it was.
I think that's why he did it. Well, now you just take you take an e-reader with you. It's not even a pound. It's not even like half
Yeah,
a pound,
right.
and it's a whole library.
But you see my point. And in the future, things like that might very well be, a bigger deal. You might already have them in a chip in your head. Where you can just close your eyes and watch movies
Yeah.
or something to that effect. I don't know.
Uh, yeah. There's that having the chip in your head. Um, like my character has the fucking VR goggles. He just wears them all the time.
Uh-huh.
He's just like you never see his half his face because he's always half in another world, right?
Hmm.
And that like th-
That would
that
be
should
another cultural phenomenon as well. The people who
yeah
are, half their brain is constantly being entertained as opposed to paying
Yeah.
attention to what they're doing. And then you'd have
Yeah.
another offshoot of humanity or what have you that are the exact opposite. They're more Star Trekian, where accomplishment is everything. That's their entertainment. They're constantly
Yeah.
so hyper fixated on the next accomplishment that they probably burn themselves out, younger,
Super
but
young. Yeah.
what they would accomplish in their lifetime, kind of like juicers and palladium, where live fast, die young, leave a good looking corpse. They're on maximum overdrive the 5 years, but what they experience is you know supposedly better than what most people do because they are living at a slower speed, etc. Um,
Um. Fuck.
Yeah, that's a good point, Paul. With death of taste explains the lack of possessions. We're trying to do the exact opposite by creating new tastes and new, uh, not just possessions, but new activities that people do besides their careers, the things that are more personal and make them more who they are than their job because they can lose that at any moment. A hobby or a passion, that's usually a lifelong thing.
I will set up because I looked this up while we were talking. The first three Tech War books have finally been re-recorded for modern audio quality, and they're
Okay.
available on Audible. Just at the beginning of the year, I was bitching and moaning at William Shatner on Twitter last year that they weren't available, and the recordings that existed were crap. Uh, but it still only has his name on the thing. It doesn't have the guy he co-wrote it with, which is fucked up.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, the way I see it is the guy's probably not complaining all the way to the bank.
no, he was a ghostwriter, but it did come
No, that's what
out.
I mean. Is he got his paycheck and
Yeah,
he's happy. Maybe he wrote something else and doesn't care. Maybe he's
yeah.
literally grown since then and made something that he considers better, and that got his foot in the door. And
Uh, no, I think the guy is dead now. Died a couple years ago. Um,
well, Paul, that's probably going to be the case in some places throughout the solar system, where
Lord.
they you may literally have like the Binars from Star Trek,
Star Trek, yeah.
where they're so integrated that they're almost the Borg.
Or you just got the Borg, right? Like we were talking about those celebrity cults earlier.
Mhm.
That they would probably be like pseudo Borg cults, but like
Maybe,
not thinking
or
under the
have
one
like
mind, but their minds are so similar because of the
if you remember, I used to play this game, Fantasy Star, and in
yeah.
one of the second or third versions, you would call in on your phone and download your memories every time you wanted to save your game. And so if something happened to you, what did he die of? Shame. That's fucked up. uh, to where these that's how they make a collective is by downloading their consciousness at the end of the day. Instead of it being a constant thing, they just go plug in at night and download everything, you know, and literally save their progress and share it with the collective or their cult or their employer or whatever, and to the point where I think one of the technological advances is going to be with the brain chips is like that old TV show or the Matrix, because there was a TV show before the Matrix where the characters would call in on the phone and upload skills into their brain, and it wasn't a cell phone; it was a like a pay phone that they
Yeah, what was that show called?
I don't know, I can't remember, but I know it was a thing.
Huh. Give me a minute, and I will look it up. The guy I said his name a moment ago, Ron something, who co-wrote it.
The
Uh,
the bionic people died effing.
yeah, who co-wrote Tech War. Out through the '70s, he worked on the Flash, the Phantom, and Vampirella.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Tech War was from the 70s?
No, no, the guy that uh, was the shadow writer for it. For Tech War, he worked on those properties out through the '70s.
Okay, Paul, that's pretty funny. Uh,
But
I don't remember how the Binar procreated. But no, I was just talking memories. But yeah, if you were able to clone yourself for some reason and you know do multiple things at once, which might also be a thing. I mean, how many of us have wished we could be at two places at once, and instead of uh, just wishing that you could literally make a temporary clone of yourself. But see, that's the problem. I mean, I don't mind having clone technology where you can create a duplicate body, but the brain that I don't know that by growing it in a vat you'd get all the right stuff in the brain to have all your memories. And if you could do that, that raises a whole bunch of metaphysical and spiritual questions. Is it really you? Does it have a soul? Did you just suddenly just split your soul in half or more if you do the multiplicity thing?
that's like okay, that's your personal opinion on that. But what if it's someone else's opinion that no, it is you, right? So now you have another point of antagonism, right? Where one group of people say you're killing yourself, and another group say no, I'm practically immortal
Well,
as
I,
long as
the metaphysical aside, I don't know how the technology, because I kind of understand how they would grow a new copy of your body. Okay, but would the brain be fully intact from that point, or would it, basically be a blank slate?
well, it's like altered carbon, right? Where your mind, your memories,
Mhm.
the things that make you who you are, aren't stored in the wetware anymore. They're stored on that silicone wafer in the back of
Mhm.
your neck. So, like the brain, because that thing that they used to say you only use 10% of your brain, that's
Which is,
bullshit,
yeah, yeah,
right?
you're using a lot
You're
more.
using 90%. It's just you're using that for like
Well, case by case basis, but
yeah,
yeah.
you're using it for pumping blood around your body and keeping your heart going and like transcribing the messages from the cones in your eyes.
Mhm.
Right, like
Things we haven't yet mapped out. But
yeah,
because I was going by
for being gay, because you're gay. We all know you're fucking gay. Not just you, Shadow, but all these motherfuckers out here too.
uh like okay, because if you're growing the body, right,
Yeah,
I could see where that's going to be a blank slate. Okay,
yeah. Um,
but if you're doing like a transporter thing, uh, from the fly, you know,
yeah,
if you can get to that technological level, then you literally probably could and would get a complete. You could make a complete duplicate like they did on Accident with Riker. You know what I mean? He was
hmm,
Riker from that point on. You made a literal 3D copy inside and out,
yeah,
so it's not going to just you know you push the button to make a copy. It's not just going to slump to the ground because it doesn't know how to walk. It's going to be a full on copy. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be well. You got the pattern in the buffer.
Mm-hmm.
You just initialize it twice. Like that's like
They just
that's a thing that like I never got medicine in the Star Trek universe because you know
had a feeling, Cal. Had a feeling.
uh, Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Um. Yeah.
Even never mind.
Even women.
But no, I was going to say something else, but I couldn't get all the words in the joke in the right order, so I said fuck it. Uh,
Yeah. Um.
and I think you'd have to actually uh, do the vat cloning as part of the process to learn how to do the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we're not going to have transporters in our world, right?
No,
So
no.
we're
But
not going to worry about that. But say like it's like in altered carbon. Those are all vac cloned bodies, or they have 3D printers that can do that. Right?
because that would
They
be,
showed that in the TV
first you'd
show.
probably have, like they've
Mhm.
tried in the past, the vat clones, and then now the 3D printing is where it's at. Give it another 100 or 200 years, and they could literally just print up an army. And
Yeah.
once Elon Musk does all his crazy shit and makes the breakthroughs for brain chips and brain scans and understanding how the brain's coding works, despite languages. You'll
Yeah.
eventually get some of these technologies that allow for people to literally create from scratch. Instead of the robots we were talking about, it's like I'm going to create a harem today. I'm going to start with this girl, then that girl, then that girl, and by the end of the week, they'll all be printed up and ready to go.
Yeah. When I'm bored
I
with
need a,
them.
I need a team of agents. I'm going to print up a bunch of disposables to go do my work, and then built in
Yeah.
they get a week to do it. After a week, they turn into a pile of goo,
Yeah.
and they can't be traced back to me because I'm a supervillain, and that's how I roll.
Yeah. Um. Possession of such technology would probably be heavily licensed, and there might be like auto coding put into the units you produce, but people will hack those systems. But still, you get
I
all that
honestly,
kind of stuff.
Mar, I would go with a soul of its own, uh, because I don't think that you are creating a second thing. It may be a real almost perfect copy, but it's not a perfect copy because it didn't
Yeah.
exist prior to it being printed or what have you. Therefore, it's subtly different, and it may be indistinguishable from the original, but I think there'd still be a completely different uh, something, undefinable something that would make it its own. And from the moment it opened its eyes for the first time, it would start being a completely new thing.
Well, that's like the philosophical debate, right? That will never end because
Well,
it's
I think it's kind of self evident.
not to me, man.
You think that you could be there could be two of you and they'd be identical in every way, even though they're not. They're doing different things. They're standing in different places.
Yeah,
Therefore, they're not
well,
the same thing.
this divergence, right? Like that's if you think the soul is like a thing that is separate from your body. Like, okay, you duplicated it, but now it's changing from that point forward.
Right.
It's not right,
That makes it a completely brand new thing,
but
doesn't it?
that's a thing that people will have schismatic fights over, right? And I don't want to have that fight with you because it's useless because it's not real technology. But you
Right.
have the characters in the world have that fight, right? Like your personal opinion on it
Well, no,
is one you give to the story, but it shouldn't be the only one in the story.
well, no, I'm just going
Uh,
by just not even really my opinion so much as that they're two different things. You know what I mean?
yes, but they weren't before the accident or the force, right? So
Well, they didn't. There was only one before the thing, right?
yes.
Okay, now there's a second
So
one.
you break it off. It's like a duplication.
Right.
But still, like you're talking the transporter thing. Okay, so I annihilated this one, but I created an exact copy of it over here.
Oh no,
Is
I
it a
wasn't talking about
new?
that.
a new thing or just a relocation through
Yeah, I think it would be a relocation
duplication? Yeah.
on for like the transporter accident. I was talking about if you did it on purpose, the second one would be a brand new thing.
Don't know, right? Don't know. That's why it becomes a philosophical debate.
The thing in the
And
fifth was
then you could have fanatics on both sides suicide bomb over it because it's like what happens, right? Turned
right.
up to 11.
The thing in
Um,
Fifth Element was treated as an extreme form of medicine and somehow didn't create it, but merely rebuilt it.
yeah. But we don't see enough of that world. There's probably some cult in that world that are like the Mormons with surgery or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And they consider that shit, fucking a violation.
Exactly, exactly. There. Uh,
Just like Shadow.
well,
Shadow would be the leader of that cult, and he would drink the Kool Aid. But his Kool Aid would be actual Kool Aid, and everyone else's Kool
I've
Aid
had
would be rat
surgeries before. What are you
poisoning.
talking about?
No. In the Fifth Element world, where they have the extreme medicine where they rebuild your body,
I
uh,
don't remember that.
that's how they made Lilu.
Okay. I thought it had to do with that, but I don't. I thought that was just like a one-off.
No. That was like they had that piece of equipment just sitting around in a room with technicians trained to use it because of
Okay,
what?
I just kind of assumed that it was meant for that, and they were all getting ready to use it for the first time or something. Because I
No.
remember in like Logan's Run, they had those the shop with Farrah Fawcett in it, where they could just make your face over and with lasers and stuff. I don't know how that works, but whatever. I guess they cut off the old flesh and spray on some new and sculpt it or whatever. I don't know.
I want that fucking. I want their version of Tinder there. The wall, like he's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
apparently the version I watched, or maybe I don't know. Uh, that was like a transporter, wasn't it?
Who knows?
Well, I mean the way Jessica walked through the screen.
Yeah, it was like a little wormhole that connected each apartment to the other for
Yeah,
getting some. Yeah, I
Star
want
Trek
their version of Tinder.
normal transporter use doesn't create any further.
She doesn't get to swipe left or right. You just get to say yes, and she walks through, and you get
Yeah,
busy.
it's Star Trek had so many like plot holes and technological things
Yeah.
that didn't make sense. Like when Kirk stole the cloaking device and then they never used it, or uh, the fact that transporter and replicator technology should allow for them to literally damn near create their own freaking Enterprise crew whenever they need it, and literally keep everybody alive forever.
Well,
Spock.
that's what I was saying. Why the fuck do you need a sick bay if you have a transporter?
Right.
You have every crew do their morning, like, seriously, you walk into your sonic shower in the morning and it takes a fucking image of you,
Yep.
right? So you know you're fucked if you're a filthy bastard and you gotta go on an away mission. And then if something goes wrong, they're just like, hey, you lost 6 hours of your life. Shit was not good during that time. Be thankful you can't remember it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And not only that, but then
You
they should
broke your little
also
finger, and they just vaporize you and tell you you lost 6 hours of your life. Don't worry about it.
not only that, then
You
they
got a
could
fucking
deem your
hangnail. You
they
got
could
the
then
flu.
deem your scan back to Federation headquarters, so you'd never die, even if the ship blew up.
Well, maybe they would have to send someone out to pick up the black box or whatever.
Maybe, but if they could do all that, then they could also just basically mix and match parts.
And then we would never have to see the movie Nemesis, which was truly the downfall of Star Trek. Yeah, it was Nemesis, right? Or was it
Sure, Cal.
one
Uh,
before that?
but there was because like in my longest running game, um, there was all of that technology, but even better technology than most of that was Total Recall technology,
Total Recall.
where they could basically just create anyone out of freaking whole cloth
You need
from information.
seriously, man. You need to track down Total Recall 2070
Okay,
from like 1999 and watch the fuck out of that shit.
really.
You need to. I've told you this for like 3 years now. Some shit like that.
Have I known you 3 years now?
It's some shit like that.
Really? Wow, the time is
COVID was still a thing.
was it?
Yeah,
Time flies when you're having fun, bro.
yeah. It's been just about, well, I guess this is the second
Steal the
Christmas we've
transporter
known each other.
patterns and use them to create clones and torture the clones for information. Sure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a brutal one, dude.
Most definitely.
Wow, I didn't think you had it in you, man.
Or
Nice,
steal the
Mar.
club.
I'll forgive
Yeah.
you for owing me that $20.
No, I'm not forgiving you for owing me that 50 though.
It's okay.
No,
You just get it
Mar.
from Cal. He owes me 30. Mar owes me 20, and that'll.
Yeah, but it's funny. The information you want was learned by the clone like a few minutes after he took his last scan. So you're torturing him for weeks and weeks and weeks. And he just has no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Because think about it, if you had the Total Recall technology where you could implant false memories or other memories,
Real
then you could
ones, yeah.
then you could literally make up humans out of nothing, brand new humans that would be built in with whatever you wanted them to know.
Well, they had that in Altered Carbon, right? Like when they were in transition, their chips could be updated with new skills and
Mhm.
abilities or whatever.
But that would literally lead to like literally being able to create, custom humans that didn't exist 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, it's
You know,
like
essentially, very
Demolition Man. You know, he gets hypnotically taught how to knit while in cryostasis,
mhm.
and
Well,
then the other guy is given the abilities to be a fucking commando with all the.
there are four lights. I mean, you can literally create disposable professional assassins with the best of the best memories. You know what I
Why
mean?
would I do that? There's only one assassin in all of history that needs to be cloned
No,
and
I
given
mean
the
you could
green
make
hat.
it. What? No, I mean just make them out of nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but super
Or
competent
or
guy
or a
there.
workforce, or all kinds of other things. Uh, basically Blade Runner esque, but which I'm sure if they branched off, you'd find that in fact Roy Batty was not even top of the list of things they had done with that technology.
Yeah. Um. Well, that's the thing with Total Recall 2070. It's a lot more like Blade Runner than it is the Total Recall universe.
That's probably one of my favorite episodes, Paul, with the Vietnam vet guy who just kept outsmarting him. Right? Is that what you're talking about, Paul? And the fact they didn't bring that character back ever was also kind of a kick in the nuts.
Super Soldier Program. Kicked War. I don't remember that episode at all.
Yeah, it was this guy who was like one of the super soldiers created for a war on a planet, and then they had consigned them to like prison.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember that one now. I just don't remember him kicking Worf's ass. And then there was like the Cuck World. That was like what they ended up like. Like when they created the Bajorans, they were like basically the same people as the Cuck world that created the super soldiers.
Not sure.
Was you watching a Terra novella? Torah novella. Oh, I'm tired, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it quits in a minute here. I went
Yeah,
a little over what I was expecting, and I've only got so much charge, and I don't really feel like I
yeah.
literally can't sit where I normally sit. Um,
Because grandma's there.
no, because I've got a bunch of shit on the table because I had to move a bunch of stuff for the chimney sweep.
Yeah, look at this bourgeois motherfucker. He's got a chimney sweep, and it isn't even a little boy. He captured it out front of the Home Depot.
I know they were actually really nice guys, father and son team. You know, they're pretty cool. It took them a while, but they made sure that they checked everything so that I was concerned about my trees that they might catch the trees on fire. But it's all up to code, and it turns out I have the top of the line chimney flue that really keeps the heat in and the cold out. Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah,
Take care, Cal. I will see you tomorrow.
yeah.
Come on, dude. Come on. Get around.
Party on, man. Party on. Oh, yeah. Um,
So next
fuck.
week will
I
be
was gonna say.
brand new genetically created, creatures, animals, monsters, whatever things that would be, not necessarily super top secret anymore. Things that you like new species, whether they be because uh, they're imported from Mars or uh, leftovers, dinosaurs, things created in labs.
Yeah. Well, I could see like someone creating nightmares for like. Was there a Gene Wars? Right, like maybe one of the last wars that led to the downfall of some of the major powers is like the Chimera Wars or whatever, where they're
I
just
like
like
that.
sending monsters after each other. Genetic slave. So yeah.
That you know,
Just reading.
yeah, I was reading what Paul was saying, and I was thinking, I was wondering, how you were talking about the people who refuse some of these advancements, like let's say the Amish or the Mormons or something like that, right? Well, you may literally by 25 have very different, specific kinds of humans at that point. People that are still genetically like you and me, but that
Hmm.
a couple of dozen generations later, there's like a whole bunch of new people, but the old people don't want to be like the new people, and then the new people spawn an even better new people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, it's like what's the definition of better, right? Like, but better for you is not better for me.
Right.
So you get like more schismatic things there, which you always want to you lean into because
What
it's
was that?
it's it's
Remember
where you
that thing?
get conflict, right? And conflict is what moves a story forward.
I'm gonna have to revisit that episode of the Y Files that I sent you. Remember about it
I
about
don't
in the
remember.
future where there's kind of like what was that movie with oh god where in the future there are uh, the imperfects
Hmm.
and then the new people that are better. Ethan Hawke was in it, I believe.
Yeah, Gattaca.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should watch the Ethan Hawke movie I keep telling you to watch. Fucking Predestination. You would like it. You would like Predestination.
I've heard enough to know that yeah, right, Cal.
No,
Say,
I
say
actually
more.
think you would like Predestination. I think it's a mind fuck, and I think you would like it. I'm
Mhm.
not being satirical or trying to get you on anything. It's a good film.
I literally need to clone myself just so I can watch a bunch of freaking movies and TV shows. I was thinking about during this conversation. It's like what I would give to be able to literally be able to put all this stuff to the side and just freaking sit down for like a month and just freaking binge watch all the crap that
Well, that's another thing. Like okay, so you got the people that become the Borgs, but how do they get you into that? Well, you don't have enough time to do things in the day. Wouldn't you just like to have someone else's memory of watching a movie?
hmm
And in return, all they would ask is for your memory of doing something. Get this
or
chip.
everything
Yeah,
or sit in the chair or whatever. I like to sit in the chair thing from Total Recall.
yeah. Um, but it's like so you have your passive entertainment that you're getting from like things you're doing, but you're also getting it from Paul, and Paul's getting all your passive entertainment in return,
hmm
right? So it's like you spend your $50 on the chip.
Yeah, there's some passive entertainment I don't want to share. Just saying.
Yeah. Eh, maybe there's like a setting control you can choose like how much,
The
right?
PG, the R,
Yeah.
etc.
He,
Yeah,
he,
sorry.
he can get every book I read in return for every book he reads, or whatever. And that obviously becomes very convenient, so you start turning the settings up for more and more stuff
It should be.
until you're just part of a fucking group mind,
Yep. Well,
you
because they
know.
could easily uh, covertly, implant another memory where you want to, go to their meetings on Friday nights, and
You wouldn't have to, because
it'd be addicting as hell.
you'd just be getting the memory of someone else attending that meeting.
I meant like the indoctrination and the signing of paperwork and stuff.
Well, no. So the chip is really cheap. It's like $50. Some guy comes around and staples it into the back of your head with a fucking air gun,
Mhm.
and then you get a little app on your phone that allows you to adjust the settings, and then just let it happen. If you never get any more into it than like the bare minimum, it's no skin off their back.
Mhm.
But it becomes convenient to not have to read that book, so you just move that slider down and hope that someone else has, or you don't have time to go to fancy restaurants, so you just move that slider down until someone else has, right? And you just keep doing it. Oh, I, I really don't have the time to go to the amusement park. I'll just slide it down until someone else takes the ride on the roller coaster.
Mhm. Yep.
And
And Mark,
eventually you're just like everything is a shared sensation with the group. And then maybe it's like, okay, I was only getting stuff from the people in a kilometer from me, but now I'm 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers.
Mhm.
Eventually, you're just one with the mind.
Yep. And Mar, there was an episode of I want to say like Tales from the Dark Side or something like that, where the brother of Frasier from the show Frasier was in it, and that's exactly what happened to him. He had to. They put him through a life sentence of prison in like a matter of hours or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty messed up because yeah,
Yeah. I think I remember that episode, or it's been duplicated in other things.
probably.
Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep after this.
Yeah, I got a few things I got to do, and I definitely got to write a couple of pages tonight because I didn't do
Yeah.
anything last
Well,
night because of game night and
it's 3 hours in the past for you,
right,
so
right. So we're going to say goodnight here, folks. Paul, Mar, come on back next week if you want. We start at 6:30 avocado time, so if you want to show up sooner, I know you guys
mhm.
just kind of got here or might seem that way, but you guys are always welcome to hang out with us.
Yeah. Um, and I'm doing my show Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time,
Mhm.
noon. So that's what,
And
9:30, 10:30 for you.
the two of us and Cal and Mad Eye Miniatures and Off Grid Gaming and Omen Owl. Unfortunately, Grim won't be joining us for a while. Hopefully, Raven will join us. She
Mhm.
should have joined us here on this conversation because she probably had some really crazy things she's heard about pertaining to this.
Yeah. And I work better riffing off of other people. Um, and I can only do so much with what this guy provides me. He's like, all he knows about is gay sex or whatever. I don't know. You just like go back to the
You,
conversation
you,
and you can
you
see.
must be tired because you only hit me with that a couple of times tonight. Uh,
I've been trying to be easy on you.
yeah, I'm in California, and he's
Yeah,
this side of the country or the
yeah.
continent, say. But everybody, thanks for sticking around and playing
Mhm.
along. Go check out the Fourth Agenda. I want to see Jackie's video hit 500 views by the end of the weekend. Um, it's the Fourth Agenda spelled out.
But
I
oh,
know. Hey,
oh,
what's
oh,
up, Per? Right as we're leaving again,
yeah,
Per, you should always show up as well.
yeah,
Love the hat, Justin. Hey, my hat's pretty cool too, man. A
yeah.
little darker than his.
But mine's more festive than yours.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
This is my.
Thank you, Per. I might say one thing about the Fourth Agenda. Only watch that if you're okay with an acid trip. If you cannot handle exposure to high
Thanks,
concentrations
Cal.
of acid, avoid.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Per.
Yeah.
George. Everybody else who joined us tonight. Uh,
Yes, hit the like button.
love you guys. We'll see you guys later. I'm going to end the stream now because I need to use the little Dungeon Master's room.
Yeah, party on.
Talk to you guys later.